give me space. Me not a fool, me not a fool. Yeah, 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 yeah. Me up before the sun, check the charts like gospel. Push the bid, watch the price jump up like a brattle. Risk it all, never small, me not play soft. If the market looking weak, me just double up my cost. You see my wins, them a ball, them a vex. Me turn the red to the green, that a flex. Them still wait pan signals, me just take buy low. Sell high, you better show me respect. Me nah sleep, nah blink, money move quick. One bad trade, you get left in the ditch. Me never fear loss, me just flip it on the spot. Risk I bank fat, tell a broke man kick rocks. 80, Friday, stack the cheddar, watch the numbers fly away. Market hot, me nah stop, this a high stakes. Payday, Friday, big wins me laugh, them off to cry. Them a chat but me stuck, money never lie, yeah. Me see them panic, them a fool, them a clown. Sell too early, now them watch me by the town. Me ride the wave like my band pon the sea. If the market crash, me just buy it up for free. Me no want hear no broke man speech. Me done set the trade, now the profit in me reach. Me move like a ghost, quick cash, no trace. While them still a pre, me already win the race. Me nah sleep, nah blink, money move quick. One bad trade, you get left in the ditch. Me never fear loss, me just flip it on the spot. Risk I bang fat, tell a broke man kick rocks. Payday, Friday, stack the cheddar, watch the numbers fly away. Market hot, me nah stop, this a high stakes. Payday, Friday, big wins me laugh, them off to cry. Them a chat but me stack, money never lie. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 yeah. Payday, Friday, stack the cheddar, watch the numbers fly away. Market hot, me nah stop, this a high stakes. Payday, Friday, big wins me laugh, them off a cry. Them a chat but me stack, money never lie. Payday, Friday, stack the cheddar, watch the numbers fly away. Market hot, me nah stop, this a high stakes. Stack, money never lie.
Welcome back to another episode of the Kohrs Show, where we are here to celebrate Quadruple Witching. Happy Quadruple Witching Day to all of you who do celebrate, and if you don't, you're gonna learn what the party is about today. I've been screaming it from the mountaintops. Yes, you've been calling me crazy, and that's honestly for good reasoning, but once in a while the crazy people are right, and it looks like that's what we're going to be doing today. Very quickly, it does look like we're having some technical issues. It looks like something is going on with the Rumble stream. Can you see me? Can you hear me? I just want to see if I could fix this. I think the system actually might be down. How in the world could I fix this? How can I fix this? I'm going to see if I can quickly get something up. I'm going to try a whole different system. So just hang on, because it is, nope, that works. Channel's already ready. Go back, add new channel. Rumble. All right, we have that. All right, edit. Let's see what I could do. Save. Can we somehow punt this live? an error occurred. No, I think something's going on with Rumble. I think, oh, wait, nope, down now that's working. I think it just spun itself up. I think the technical issue is saving itself, so we should be good. Just a weird couple minute delay, but it does look like it's now getting kicked out to Rumble. Can I get a quick little confirmation from the Rumble people? Are we good now? It looks like somehow the stream just caught itself. I think we should be good. Quick, give it a reload. If you're watching on Rumble, give it a reload. But on my end, the data is finally going through. So, okay, cool. We already took care of one problem. The other problem we have is the $100,000 problem. And that $100,000 is this guy. This guy put $100,000 on the market falling today. And if you've looked at the market for the past 2 days, I've been in quite a bit of pain. I've been crying. I've been yelling. I've been pondering what I should be doing with my life. At one point, I was even considering going Amish. But looking at pre-market today, your boy might be able to pull a lucky rabbit out of the hat. And what a timely event to do it on. We're doing it on Quad Witching. I'm going to be joining up with the team of Hocus Pocus, and just maybe I will be able to pull a little bit of magic out of thin air today. So one problem already taken down. Rumble stream was broken. We fixed it. Problem number 2 is, am I going to lose $100,000 today? Or am I going to make $100,000 today? It's going to be interesting. So we're going to see how this really plays out. But it's been a rough 2 days. I'm not going to lie to any of you guys. It's been a rough 2 days for sure. But I am a fan. I am a fan of this pre-market movement. But this is exactly how yesterday felt. And then we kind of pumped in the morning and then didn't really do anything after noon. So I very, very deeply believe that I've been reading the option structure right, paying attention to the gamma changes, the delta changes, really the overall GEX movement, the charm influences, the Vanna influences. I believe deeply in my core that I'm reading the mathematical tea leaves properly, which is why I've been screaming it to all of you for the past 2 to 3 weeks now that there was really no point in being bullish at earliest of this day, but potentially going all the way out to early April. This is the day one of a potential dip buy, not the day you should just be buying, but somewhere between this day and the start of April, particularly April 2nd, if you really want me to be specific. We are now in the zone where I believe the official dip will be seen. And I get it. Like we've been talking about the joys of bullying people on the internet. If I was down as much as I am and I were you guys, I'd be bullying me too. But it looks like I'm getting the last laugh on the shoe on the table that is now being turned. Well, I don't know, maybe. The market hasn't opened yet, and I'm kind of still afraid. Actually, the last 2 days have been so brutal. Ask anyone in the Discord. I've refused to look at my portfolio. I just didn't bring it up. I've actually just been too busy catching shrimp on RuneScape, and that was my portfolio. So we're going to see how this is going. But your boy got himself into a classic MK pickle where I just got way too oversized. If you were to point out like the one aspect of my trading that is just stupid and I'm always messing myself up, it is the fact that I'm just always perpetually oversized, and I didn't mean to be $100,000 short. I meant to be like $20,000 short. And then you guys were chirping me and I got mad. I was like, they're not right. I'm right. And I'm going to show them. And now we're just in the situation that I'm currently in. But we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it goes. Folks, it is a beautiful Friday. TGIF. And it's not just a Quadruple Witching Friday. It's not just a Texas Roadhouse Friday. It is, in fact, a Payday Friday with a little bit of a twist. The Payday Friday we are doing today, we have not done before. We have not done before. It's a new one. I want you guys to get excited. Yes, we're going to be giving away prop trading accounts from Vanquish. Shout out to them for partnering up with us as they've done for many Fridays now. So shout out to them. We're giving away their accounts. We're giving away cold hard cash, but the winner is going to be selected in a kind of a new way. Or I should say the competition is going to, it's gonna be a bit different. And I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So I hope you guys are ready for that. It's a Payday Friday. It's Quadruple Witching Friday. It's a Friday in itself. We're breaking out the lucky shirt. We're breaking out the lucky glasses. The market's getting hit. And I'm just wondering, is your boy going to be making money? or is he going to be losing money? We have a lot to talk about. I hope you had a good week. I hope you're having a good day. If you haven't already, I would please ask if you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I know I very much understand. I've seen it myself on streams. It's annoying to remind you guys, but on this side of the camera, I cannot tell you enough how helpful it truly is. So folks, I don't ask much of you rather than just have a good time. Tell your mom you love her. And the third thing is, please just hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We have 900 viewers on YouTube. How many viewers do we have over here on Rumble? Is it loading in yet? Hang on, my screen's still not loading. But I mean, just from the YouTube alone, when I see 900 viewers, why can't we have 2,000 likes? If you guys really loved me as much as I love you, you would go out, build an entire second account, watch on both accounts, and hit the like button on your mouse until you actually break your mouse. So the fact that we are literally not doubling our likes relative to our active current viewers, it just shows me that you don't love me as much as I love you. And it's honestly making the voyeurism a little bit more weird. So we'll talk about that later, but there are other important things we should get into before all of that happens. Here's a little sneak peek at the market right now. SPY taking a bit of a hit in the pre-market, trading down 1.2%. If you look at the Qs, we are down about 1.1%. We have the VIX picking up. We have Bitcoin taking a bit of a hit. What I find interesting here is that this 4-hour, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart on NQ, which is very difficult to see with the shade of my glasses right now, but we took out this low, which I find to be a bit concerning for the bulls, a bit beneficial for the bears. And then also on ES, we snapped these lows. I was looking at the lows of the 4-hour breakout, and we seem to be taking those out. And I guess at this point, we might as well just be moving these alerts down to the extremes of these movements, because that's where things might get really, really saucy. Just to show you the daily view, and I'm going to be coming back to this. I care a lot on SPY of 559.06. Obviously, we are below it, taking out this low from Tuesday, kind of realistically setting up a TEP of 552 from a purely technical standpoint. Same thing on the Qs. We do have this level. The Qs have not broken theirs. Theirs is at 472.41, which is about $2 south of where we are, but that's just because the Qs were uniquely weak on Tuesday of this week. But anyway, that is the key level to watch, and then past that, we're going to be talking about closer to 467, 468, just for those of you trading the SPY and the Qs. But we puked, we popped, we were consolidating. The Qs might be breaking down, but we haven't yet. Obviously, these blue lines are the major breakout or breakdown regions to watch on both the SPY and the Qs. The overall market showing a bit more weakness. And I mean, you can see the SPY is right at this level, trying to decide if it actually wants to snap this or not. So it's going to be a wild one. Stock future slip as the S&P 500 aims to snap a 4-week losing streak. Well, thus far, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Before we get into that, though, I do want to let you know there's some crazy stuff going on. London Heathrow closed by fire and biggest disruption in decades. So to all my friends across the pond, I hope you don't have to travel because the entire airport is being shut down.
London's Heathrow Airport will be shut all day Friday after a fire caused a significant power outage, throwing one of the world's busiest airports and the travel plans of hundreds of thousands of people into chaos. Let's go to Bloomberg's Guy Johnson in London. Guy, so just tell us what we know. What is the latest from the airport? How are these authorities actually responding to the fire?
So there's a fire nearby. It's not actually at Heathrow, Jemana. It is at a substation close by, but it's taken out power to the entire region, and as a result of which Heathrow is caught up within that. So we are now expecting Heathrow to be closed all day. It will, according to the latest reports from Heathrow, open at midnight tonight, but that at the moment is unconfirmed in terms of that being a final moment for Heathrow to be able to reopen. But it is going to be closed all day. The latest from the power company seems to indicate the power will be restored by around 3 p.m. This afternoon.
As you can imagine, massive trouble disruptions. London's Heathrow Airport closes after major fire nearby, sparking global travel chaos. London's Heathrow Airport closed today, Friday, due to a fire at a nearby substation affecting more than 1,300 flights, which are set to be canceled or diverted. So, like I said, I hope you don't have to deal with this at all, but it sounds like an absolute nightmare, and hopefully everyone is safe. Trump to expand critical mineral output using wartime powers. So we have kind of been noticing a theme recently day of Trump kind of talking about supply lines, shipping routes, minerals, not only here in the U.S., but also we know that's a large part of the conversation related to Ukraine. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to boost the U.S. ability to produce critical minerals, potentially including coal, to reduce reliance on foreign imports, kind of playing into this theme of a little bit more self-reliance, if you will. The order will provide financing, loans, and investment support to domestically process critical minerals and rare earth elements, and encourages faster permitting for mining and processing projects. So I didn't want to bring this up just exclusively so you guys are in the know, but I did want to talk about the fact that we kind of see these metals, these soft metals, really just commodities as a whole, really ripping. So you might want to be paying attention to that, because don't forget, gold hitting an all-time high. Musk set to receive top secret briefing on U.S. war plans for China. The Trump advisor is expected to get a look at the Pentagon blueprint despite his company's financial stakes in China and defense contracts. That is a wild thing to say. And then all of a sudden, we're kind of unsaying it. Trump denies the New York Times report that Musk will be briefed on China war plans. So, if true, wild, but the White House is already saying it's not true. According to Trump himself on True Social, the fake news is at it again. This time, the failing New York Times. They said incorrectly that Elon Musk is going to the Pentagon tomorrow to be briefed on any potential war with China, quote unquote. How ridiculous. China will not even be mentioned or discussed. How disgraceful it is to be discredited media can make up so much lies. Anyway, the story is completely untrue. I like the whole, anyway, it's all completely not real whatsoever. I thought that was my favorite part, and I always just love the use of these adjectives. So anyway, if you heard anything about Musk and defense, New York Times saying he is going to be involved in plans related to China war, and then the administration saying he isn't. So there's a little bit of craziness there. There's also just generic craziness in Elon's life, as there always is. Musk tells Tesla employees hang on to the stock after a 50% plunge. It is wild. I mean, if you look at what's going on with Tesla, it's just getting beat up. Not long ago, it was cooking all the way up at 488. It's now cooking down at 234, and it doesn't look the most healthy. And he's not the only one telling people they should hold on to the Tesla stock. Buy Tesla. And this isn't just from Elon or an investor. This is from the Commerce Secretary. Commerce Chief Lutnick urges as Musk leads Doge for Trump administration. I don't know if it's ever happened in history that the Secretary of Commerce has ever given a buy recommendation on an equity, but hey, I guess we are living in unprecedented waters. Speaking of individual equities, we're not really in earnings season, but I guess there were a couple earnings that you might want to care about. Last night after the market closed, we heard from FedEx, Nike, and Micron. Two of them were good, one of them was bad. Can you guess which was which? Nike expects sales will plunge in current quarter as it faces tariffs. Sliding consumer confidence doesn't really give you the most faith in the strength of the consumer. FedEx cuts full year results forecast on uncertainty in economy and also bad weather. Always blaming the weather, but the semiconductor industry apparently still strong AF. Micron shares jump on earnings peak. Rosy guidance as data center revenue triples. So for whatever reason, we are continuing with this general theme of the economy is showing a very soft, cracked foundation, but yet the world of semiconductors, really data centers, AI, and crypto apparently absolutely crushing. So quickly wanted to rip through all of that. And then that brings me to today, the exciting day of why we're all here. You probably woke up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning wondering, why is Matt gathering us all today at 9 a.m. on a beautiful Friday, March the 21st? And that's a phenomenal question. I know we're all awkwardly waiting here for what now, about 16 minutes, and you're wondering, why did Matt invite me to today's show? And the answer is because it's quadruple witching. I know right here this says triple witching. A 4.5 trillion triple witching gives investors yet another test. Let me explain what quadruple witching is. Every so often, there's a particular alignment of the expiration dates of major types of derivative contracts. So if you're trading the S&P 500, you know we have the dailies, the weeklies, the monthlies, the quarterlies. If you're trading equities such as Tesla, you know we have the weeklies and the monthlies. If you trade in the futures world, you know that all the major indices, they roll every single quarter. So every so often, particularly 4 times a year at the end of the fiscal quarters, March, June, September, and December, there's an alignment between all of these derivative contracts. So you have the index futures and options, and you have single stock futures and options. So those 4 types of derivatives, they all align in the day that the contracts basically die. So people have to make decisions. Do they want to roll? Do they want to just keep the profit? Do they want to lock in a loss? Are they going to roll super far out, closer in date? What are they going to be doing? There's a lot of just unknowns, and I feel this brings me back to a little bit of that word that I've been saying a ton lately of uncertainty. A lot of money, specifically $4.5 trillion, is going to be burned off today, and decisions need to be made. I don't mean burned off as in disappearing. I mean the contracts are done. They're finito, mi amigo. They are going to disappear today because they end today. The contract truly expires. Once again, you have 2 types of futures, 2 types of options. You have indices and single option, and just really quick, nerdy, mathematical, finance side note. Why do some people call it triple witching and some people call it quadruple witching? It's because you have options on indices, you have futures on indices. Those are both massively popular. You could trade the ES and the NQ contract on the futures market, but you could also trade SPXN, NDXN, SPY, and QQQ on the options market. We also know that we have a lot of individual equities, such as Tesla, Apple, Amazon. They're all expiring today. It's the important monthly, quarterly for those. The reason why, that's the 3. So we all agree that there's 3. Some people call it triple witching. Some people call it quadruple, as if there's a whole nother one. And there technically is. It's really not popular at all. But at one point in time, people were trading stock futures as an individual stock. So like futures on Tesla, Apple, Amazon, not really popular at all. So some people call it triple witching. Some people call it quadruple witching because the low liquidity of that final derivatives market. Yeah, they do technically expire today, but I just wanted to explain slightly the difference between quadruple and triple. And yes, there is things like double witching where 2 of these things align. So just wanted to offer a little bit of clarity, but most importantly, what you need to know here is if you crunch all the data, if you talk to that nerd that you used to beat the shit out of high school, give them swirlies, make them do your homework, and you say, nice pocket protector, nerd. If you talk to that kid and you're like, hey, crunch all this data, are these days bullish or bearish? He's going to come back to you and be like, I'm sorry, sir, but they're actually not bullish or bearish. They're just associated with high volatility. If you look at the data, referring to triple and or quadruple witching days, it's a 50-50 split between it favoring the bulls or it favoring the bears. You should not come into these days assuming it's going to be bullish or bearish. You should just assume that, okay, expect high volatility. And as you can see from the pre-market movement, that's what we already have. So in a nutshell, that's what quadruple witching is. Assume high volatility. We're already seeing it. It doesn't favor the bulls or the bears. Today, it seems like the bears currently have the upper hand, but the market hasn't even opened. So, okay, the game hasn't even started, so you never really know who's going to win. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. This is 100% free. It comes to your email inbox every single week. I give you a ton of great information, 100% free. Remember that. And I do want to give you the seasonality of today. Over the past 27 years, the better part of 3 decades on the screen right now is the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought at open, sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market. You could see some years you lose, some years you win. Some years you lose, some years you win. So it just tells me that there's really no true seasonal bias of the day, which that doesn't mean today itself is going to be choppy. It just means some years clearly the bulls dominate and some years clearly the bears dominate. So coming into this, I'm basically just not using seasonality for my own trades, my 0DTs or my swing trades, whatever. But I do want you to know that if you want this information going forward, it is 100% free, mattkohrs.locals.com. You can sign up. And good for you is if you want to be into the Discord, you can go from a membership, which is free, to a supportership, aka premium member. Once again, all on locals, mattkohrs.locals.com. You can get into that tier, the supportership tier, for free with the promo code Goonie. And once again, you get an entire month of free access to not only locals, but you'll also get access to the trading Discord. Just make sure to put in that promo code Goonie. If you don't put it in, you're either not going to get it or you're going to get charged. If you want the free month, make sure you put that promo code Goonie in. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And today is a perfect day to do it because it is another payday Friday. Somewhere around 10:30, depending on what the market either is or isn't doing, we're going to be giving away accounts from Vanquish right here. We're partnered up with them today. And you could use that code Goonie to get 35% off. And on top of that, we are also going to be giving away $150 cash. So 3 different prop accounts, SIMDA funded options trading accounts. They are the best in the business for this. If you want to do SIMDA funded trading, as in trading with someone else's money in the world of options, Vanquish is the best. And right now you could use that code Goonie to get 35% off. We're going to be giving away 3 of these accounts today. And on top of that, $150 of cold hard cash. What we're going to do is right around 10:30, depending on what the market either is or isn't doing, we're going to be picking a competitor off of Rumble, off of YouTube, and then 3 off of locals. The Rumble and the YouTube people will be picked in real time, so there isn't really anything you could do in this exact moment. But if you want to throw your hat in the ring on locals, you could do that right now, and 75 people have already done it. I just need you to comment in a way that I can actually reach out to you if you're a winner of any of these potential things. So if you want to sign up for that right now, highly recommend you do it. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Remember, you can join the Discord for free, and this is a great day to do it because you're going to be able to compete on the local side of this. And of course, you can try to compete on any of these. If you want to be on the Rumble stream, the YouTube stream, do whatever tickles your fancy. Right now, pre-market is looking pretty rough. And this is, okay, we have some couple things to talk about. See how this is kind of weird? We have a lot of gamma and delta, and then it stops right at 9:30, and then it's as if we have a whole nother day. You are very keen to pick that out, and that's because this is when the big expiration is. The big expiration is when market opens today. That's why there's basically a clear line at 9:30. There's a lot. These are the AM expiration, AM as in the morning. So in about 6 minutes, we're going to see a lot of initial prints, and that's actually when a lot of true of these quarterly expirations, they're done. That's when they are done. In fact, there's a lot more expiring today at 9:30 rather than today at 4 p.m. If you were just to look at the open interest change between this morning and then the ones for 4 p.m. today, there's ones at 9:30, there's ones at 4 p.m. There's a lot more open interest going bye-bye at 9:30 this morning than there is at 4 p.m. today. So I want to bring that up. I also want to bring up these key levels, and I actually have a better breakdown of it. I think sometimes this could get a little confusing if you're not the most used to it, but what you need to know is right now, I called it out yesterday in the update video. Not many of you watched it, not doing your homework. I don't want to give you a demerit, but you guys as a whole are getting very, very close to getting more demerits. But anyway, I said above 5650, the Bulls have a fighting chance. Below 5650, the Bears have a fighting chance. Well, as you could tell, we are below 5650, meaning that currently the Bears have the upper hand, and it does get scary for the bull camp if we snap and don't hold 5,600. But in terms of the key levels that I think we should be watching to, I have them on the screen right now. So what you need to know, as always, is the green, the red, and the white. And once again, this is for the S&P 500, the actual index. The green, the red, and the white are yesterday's high, low, and close. So once again, the green is the high of yesterday's trading session, the red is low, and the white line is the close. All key levels to pay attention to. This white box is the transition zone where it gets really choppy. Above this, the bulls have a fighting chance, and I would say above 5675, maybe even 5680, somewhere in here. If it holds this, yeah, then I'd be looking to 5700, and then above 5720 is where the bulls really are going to get going because of the various gamma, vanna, charm influences. This is where the bulls really get cooking, and they kind of have a shot. They have a shot above it. This is an interesting trade. That's an interesting trade, and then it really gets cooking up here. On the flip side, oops, I just screwed that up. Below 5650, that's where the Bears get cooking, and that's exactly what I had in the breakdown video yesterday. So once again, this is a transitional zone, a no man's zone, just kind of like you're stumbling around, no clarity from the market. Below 5650, the Bears start to have a bit of control, especially from, there's quite a few in the money puts at 5680. So if we're staying below that, that's going to actually be quite a bit of bearish, I guess, in this case, charm influence throughout the day. But anyway, because they're in the money, there's a lot of open interest there. Feel free to check it out if you don't believe me, but there is a ton of in the money put open interest at 5680. The fact that they're in the money as time progresses today, we're going to be talking about the second order derivative, aka charm. That is going to be beneficial to the Bears because it's in the money. I don't want to bore you guys with that. So if anything, I should just be giving you these levels. Below 5650, obviously you have this natural potential support zone between 5632, yesterday's low, and 5625, which there's a lot of open interest. But as of right now, we appear to be opening below that, which is that we're actually at 5604, which is actually suggestive that this is now going to be resistance. So we're actually all the way at the next major support level. If this doesn't hold, the next region I see catching the market is all the way down here. 5565 is the JP Morgan put aspect of the collar position. JP Morgan, the massive bank, has on this giant collar position, which is 3 different legs, and the put leg is at 5565. And then we also know there's a huge amount of open interest at 5550. So this would be my major target if 5,600 doesn't hold. That's a big if, because we could easily bounce off of it and return all the way up here. But judging on where we seem to be opening right now, this is the basic case. If we find support at 5,600, look for a 25 plus point bounce all the way back up to here, and then that would be the next major resistance. If we fail at 5,600, I'd be looking for a puke all the way down to about 35 to 50 points all the way down here. Now, I want to be fair. Based on the amount of out of the money calls right here above spot price, they're going to be offsetting right now based on just where we appear to be opening in the current open interest. And remember, this is dynamic. It does change throughout the day. As of right now, before market open, without knowing how the data is going to be coming in on the options flow, it will be very, very, very difficult for the bear camp to break 5,550. So if you're playing some 0 DT position and you're wondering, should you be greedy past this level? Based on the current structure, the answer is no. But obviously, the structure is dynamic and it's going to be changing throughout the day. So I just want to be clear on that. Let me get rid of this. I just want you guys to know that this is generically the transition zone up here between 5650 and 5675. Below it, bearish. Above it, bullish. And then you obviously have all my targets. With that being said, let's drop to the 1 minute. Let's get to the proper chart on all of this stuff. All right, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Let's throw up Nvidia, let's throw up Tesla, and let's get ready for what is appropriately referred to as a spooky, spooky, spooky quadruple witching day. Let me take these off so I can actually see what the hell's going on these charts. I was pretty much ripping that blind. We have 10 seconds to go. Folks, good luck. Things are clearly gearing up to be a bit crazy. Let me switch this over and just show you. I haven't traded anything over here yet on my futures accounts, just to show you that they are sitting A-OK. And I also want to show you that I haven't traded anything on my Vanquish yet either. So right now going into this, yes, I have my swing positions, but I haven't been doing any pre-market trading. So I just want to show you right there, 50K. We are ready to rip it. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Remember, it's just money and you can't take it with you anyway. Obviously, throughout the day, we're going to be checking the options flow to see what is or isn't happening. And what is happening over here? What in tarnation? What in tarnation? All right, we are at 5.6. This is printing a little bit weird on SPX, probably because of the role of what in the world's happening. But we are right at this key level at 5.625. So I'm going to be watching this very, very closely. Above it, we might have this a fight back up to 5,650, and a failure in this generic zone is setting up a very, very evident, clear test of 5,600. So this would be the short-term bull target. This would be the short-term bear target. Let's just see which way it breaks. I'm not taking any trades out of the gate because I want a little bit more data to figure out what the hell is happening today. I should let you guys know coming into this, I'm swinging quite a few puts, as everyone in the Discord knows, as everyone in stream knows. So I'm definitely hopeful for the downside, but I'm also trying to be realistic based on the current structure of how far down we could actually theoretically go. So should I even look at my accounts yet? They're kind of, I don't know. Do I want to look at this? Okay. That's not too bad. This is the first time I've looked at those accounts in 2 days. So I was just trying to not get absolutely hammered. Absolutely hammered. That's a lot of negative gamma. Remember, I know we had some clowns in chat telling you that negative gamma and positive gamma is bullish and bearish. It isn't. Negative gamma just means look for big moves, and positive gamma means look for like mean reverting moves. Obviously, we have some natural resistance up here at 5675, and then we have some natural support down here at 5550. Oh, Captain Condor isn't back today, which is probably smart. I didn't think that Captain Condor would be playing on a quad witching day. Captain Condor selling the call credit spreads, selling the put credit spreads. That player does not appear to be in the market at the moment. Right now, SPY, a little initial minute push up, getting faded, minute 2 and 3. Tesla catching a bit of a bid. Also watching the VIX. The VIX is seemingly climbing. Watch it for it to take out potentially 21 or 22 or get faded below 20. That could get very, very interesting. Tesla is one of the few green things on my chart right now. Maybe it's because the secretary of the U.S. Commerce Secretary is telling people to buy. I have no clue. Here's a look at the options flow. On the Mag 7, we popped a little bit, kind of giving it back, but not really a clear. Ooh, the Nasdaq started getting hit 2 minutes into the day, and then the S&P 500 popped, got hit, but potentially coming back. So not a clear flush one way or the other. So as always, I'm going to be sitting here the first 5, 10, 20 minutes, seeing if we can actually figure out what trend is being created, and I'll be using that trend for my shorter term plays here on Vanquish, and I'll be trading my futures accounts, but I don't really want to do anything out of the gate just because I don't think there's that much of an advantage to do something like that. So let's just give this a little bit of a breather. Let's be realistic. Let's figure out what the hell is or isn't going on. And I would love a snap of 5,600 in an absolute vomit. But at a certain point, you could wish in one hand and shit in the other and see what fills up first. So I'm hoping for this, but let's see what the market gods, let's see what those 4 quadruple witches have in store for me today. Let's see what they have in store for me today. All right, let me see. All right, we did this. I'm just making sure I have everything set up. I want to get the flow on this other monitor just in case I have to make decisions in real time, real quick. All right, we have that. I have up to 5 seconds. The S&P 500 index, we're getting a little bit of a pop here. A little bit of a pop. Calls being purchased and puts being purchased. So the classic battle of the bulls and the bears. Calls going up, puts going down, which actually means people are buying puts. Right now, there's a bit more aggressive call buying than there is put buying, which is why price is drifting up a little bit. But neither side is really blinking yet. Both are trying to represent strength. Bulls are trying to represent strength. Bears are trying to represent strength. As in just wait. I don't know how many of you have been caught in the middle of a fight between a full-grown grizzly bear and a gigantic bovine. It's not where you want to be. You, as a Homo sapien on the sidelines, you don't want to be the person caught in between a giant bull and bear fighting, and that's in real time what is happening right now. You can see it. Oop. The bulls are starting to blink. They showed some strength. They might be able to pull off a higher low here, but if you see the delta crack this low at 931, that's not so bueno. The Mag 7 tried to get going, also got smacked there, but once again, if you were to have a linear regression line, it would be trending up. The Nasdaq is telling a different story. The Nasdaq is actually having a downward facing average slope. The SPY just got clocked right there. Just got clocked. All right. Let me give myself a little bit more real estate here. Okay. I almost took that, but then I realized it would just be greedy and silly of me. If anything, I should wait for a little bit of a pullback. Don't want to do it right there. Like I said, SPY getting smacked all the way down. The longer duration just hit a fresh low, while you have the 0DT going a bit flat right now. Call buying just stepped in, but I don't know. Things are getting a wee bit choppy. Remember, this is the key level that we're all paying attention to. 5,600, which on the SPY, what would that even be? About another 5 points. I don't know. It's around like 558. Like the low 558s is roughly the equivalent. Much more important to pay attention to the SPX levels than the SPY, because big institutions, big hedge funds, people with big money aren't trading SPY. They're trading SPX and ES. SPY is much more of like a retail centric product. So in terms of like the key reactionary levels, you're going to have a much easier time looking for those psychological levels based on SPX values rather than SPY values. Just a little bit of a pro tip for you there, but let's see. Let's see. All right, little bit of a bounce. Let me get up the options flow over here. I see Nvidia taking a hit. Hang on. Let me see the options flow for this morning. Volume on options. We got a lot cooking today. If you can be on the right side of the major trend on a day like today, you can make some serious money. SPX actually bouncing pretty nicely right here. Look at that. Bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, telling me chop sideways, indecisive. Nasdaq, bearish. Mag 7, kind of bullish, but now actually fading in real time. Now actually fading in real time. All right. We're going to see if I can snag my one good trade of the day. I'm seeing a succession of lower highs and lower lows, a bounce back up to the EMA. I am seeing weak flow over on the Mag 7. I'm seeing weak flow on the NASDAQ, and I'm seeing hang on, that actually just got bullish. Well, that might not be good. I was seeing this. I didn't realize I thought this was coming right back down. Oh, okay, so the SPY's strong, the NASDAQ's weak, and the Mag 7 is weak. We're going to see. Obviously, I'm risking this recent high, but I see lower highs, lower lows, potential failure at this EMA line. We are below the VWAP. Okay. Bearish, 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 bearish. So across all 8 time frames, the 5, the 10, the 30, the 4 hour on ES and NQ, all the price momentum is bearish. I don't need this right now. And I also have a natural target right here at 5,600 on SPX. This is, I believe, going to be a natural target. The question is it going to hit it now, or is it going to like pop first and then hit it, or is it just not going to hit it at all? So let's see. Let's see what I can pull off. Seeing this battle, I almost was able to lock in one contract, but obviously it didn't happen. Almost back to break even. Obviously, I am short at 32.50, and I'm just hoping we don't take out this recent high, or obviously that might put me in risk of my stop getting hit. But basically, I looked for the puke. I didn't want to chase it down. I wanted to wait for reversion. I thought the reversion was going to fail, but if anything, we're still caught in Chop City. I still feel like I'm on the right side of trend. I'm on the right side of price momentum, most of the options momentum, and I do know there's a natural target not that far away south on SPX. So I'm wondering if the market will at least just revisit that just to give me this fill. So basically, the trade thesis is SPX touching 5,600. The one thing I don't like right here is I thought SPX was going to fall back over. It is not falling back over. The Mag 7 was falling over. The NASDAQ was falling over. SPX right here. I tried to get in on this, but it quickly reverted and actually got a bit of a pump, which might be screwing me over here. Might have been a little bit early. Shit. Might have been a wee bit early. And this is, yeah, okay. My stop just got hit. That's why you have stops. You have to protect yourself. On a day like today, you can pretty easily make it back once again if you get on the right side of it. But of course, it just like barely waked me out. I was a little bit early today, and I just got, like I said, I placed it right here when I saw this coming back down. I was like, okay, cool. We're back down, and it just caught itself oddly at 938, and then we got a pump. So that's going to happen. Doesn't really bother me right now because I'm fully expecting on a day like today that we can just have huge moves. Huge move. So with one well-placed move, we could easily be making this back. So I'll be watching this trend line now. Also going to be, we didn't really go all the way up to VWAP. Obviously, my risk was just that recent high. You always got to protect yourself, because if you are wrong and it keeps going, that's exactly how you like blow out and lose your accounts, and it could go awry pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. All right, so first attempt was a dud. Man, I really thought on this one right here. I was looking at 938, 939. I was like, great, another lower high. We're going to get that. Looks like as of now, we have a bit of a fake out. Looks like the Fed Williams is talking right now. And what am I seeing? I'm seeing on the options flow on SPX, we have some 0 DTE puts being closed out. That's this push. This push here is 0 DTE puts being closed. It is not people buying calls. So this isn't bullishness. This is actually a lack of bearishness that we're currently seeing over the past couple of minutes. Once again, just to, like, I guess show you right here. See how the calls are flat? It's actually just the 0 DTEs going up, as in them hitting their cash register or whatever, throwing it in. But it's not people buying calls at the moment. The calls are flat. It's puts. It is the old put situation. What do we have going on? All right, SPY going for the... Well, good thing I got out of that trade or those accounts would have been blown. That's exactly why, as confident as you are, you got to have your risk set there. You got to have your risk. Man, I was so confident in that trade. 938, successive lower highs, lower lows. It just happened to turn 2 minutes later, and that shit happened. You have to get used to it. Let's just watch this flow and see which way it's going to go from here. Let's see which way it's going to go from here. All right. Vol getting crushed. Vol's higher today. Vol crush. Vol's higher. You're not getting vol crush. Vol's actually increased. So I don't know where you're getting that one necessarily. Don't know where you're getting that one. Vol's actually up 3.8%. Everything is red except for Tesla trading at 242. Don't know how that's happening, but it is happening. 5 minute kind of seemingly saving itself from disaster. Look how close we got to this breakdown from that Tuesday low. We got real close. Well, we're right at that breakdown level. We're seeing it on ES. I'm surprised. I mean, technically 5 points is pretty darn close. Technically it's pretty darn. All right, I'm going to be watching this. You know what I have to do just to give myself a little leeway? I'm dropping a 1 contract on this now, just in case I need a bit more breathing room. Watching this trend line on the NASDAQ. Obviously watching this trend line on the SPY. If that does happen, what is today? Am I on the right one? See how there's 2/21st. Am I on the wrong one, actually? Is it this one? Which one? Okay, this one's the one actually being traded. Okay. All right, we're going to get that order ready just in case this snaps. What's the options flow looking like? Are we actually turning here? Potentially. We almost kissed this trend line. Got close. Bearish. Okay. We have this trend line that we're coming up to. You know what? Let's rip it. I'm in at 1680, so 17. Oh, shit. All right. Well, that was a 200. It must have bounced back. We're right at that trend line. All right, so made a quick 200 there. I did a market order. I thought I was going to be where I needed to be, but there was a bit of a bounce right here. This is what I'm watching. Okay, here's the flow. Calls picking up a little bit. Actually, kind of just flat. What the hell is happening here? Mag 7 caught a bid. All right, I am fortunate that I avoided this. I was trying to play this weakness, but I got in at 938 and right at 940, it turned against me. That's just unfortunate break. It's going to happen. That's the world of trading. You can't cry over it. You can't cry over it. We are seeing a bit of a trend line test right here. First major trend line test on SPX. So it might get interesting if we break below 615. Kind of a similar situation here on the Nasdaq as well. From this 936 low, you can see this pumped. I tried to play this breakdown here, and I just use this recent high as my risk. Shit happens. Shit happens. I am definitely looking for this potential breakdown of 63. This potential breakdown of 63. How's the options flow looking? SPX might be breaking down. You never know. When you come to the test level, it might break, it might bounce. You just don't know. The Nasdaq is getting hit. The Mag 7's actually at its highest delta reading of the day. So is this. Well, the SPY is close enough to its highest reading of the day. Very indecisive. Which way is this stuff going to break? The Mag 7's trying to show a bit of strength. Will this be able to push and the Q's tag a new intraday high? Or is the SPY going to bring it down and come below 55920? All right, let's give this a whirl. What am I in at? All right, so 18, 10. All right, we put that order in to see if that's going to get a quick fill. Q's did catch this bid off the strength in the Mag 7 here. Right there, the Mag 7. Something turned at 940, and we got that pump. Something turned at 940, and we got that pump. SPY is not buying it, though. So the Q's just barely made a new intraday high. I'm very happy. Obviously, I'm not happy that I had to lock in that loss, but I'm happy I actually did lock it in because right now that would have been donezo. Those accounts would have been donezo. Whoa, almost spilled my coffee there. We're getting a little jumpy there, Tonto. Getting a little jumpy there, Tonto. All right, so tech showing a little bit more, I would say, relative strength on the intraday basis. And Tesla's uniquely showing strength right now. Let's keep watching this flow. The NASDAQ did pop right now, divergence. So we put in a higher price, but a lower delta reading. The Mag 7 is legitimately strong ever since 940. And then looking at the SPY, we popped up and we're kind of just going flat ever since 945. So there was a nice push from 936 up till 945, about a 10-minute push. And then the options like flow, it just kind of turned off. And remember, that push was not bullish aggression. It was puts being closed out. The negative delta was being removed. That stopped. And we're not seeing that bullish follow through, which should make you concerned if you're trying to chase this to the top side because the bulls are not showing up. Obviously watching this trend line here. All right, let's watch more of this elongated trend line to see if we snap on SPX. Let's see. We did run right up to this resistance. We called this out as a major open interest level. We knew that there would be a bit of a battle somewhere between 5625 and 5632. It just happened right at 5625. So watching this trend line to see if there's a push in. If there is a snap that is also going to be aligned with the options market dropping, that might be your bearish entry. But I wouldn't just arbitrarily take the breakdown if options are still holding. So you kind of want both things to be true. You want your trade to be supported by the current flow in options. And right now it is not. Right now it is not. The NASDAQ is catching a bid. Oh, the Mag 7 is just going. Lots of starting at 940, literally 2 minutes after I put on my trade. 2 minutes after. If I just was lucky enough to wait to see this, but something at 940 happened where puts are being closed and calls are being bought. So unique options aggression in the world of the Mag 7. Not necessarily clear on the NASDAQ, not necessarily clear on the S&P 500, but the reason things are going up right now is in the grouping of Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, you are seeing a clear pump right now. This pump is not because of the NASDAQ. It's specifically the Mag 7, which is keeping the SPY up here. The SPY is showing a different story. So a bit of a mismatch. It is very dangerous to chase these types of pushes because it is not market wide. It's actually like kind of idiosyncratic to the Mag 7. It would be a completely different story right now if people were YOLOing into SPY calls, but we're just simply not seeing that. We are seeing aggression in the Mag 7. So if you want to be bullish right now, that's where you should focus. But being bullish at this moment of time on the SPY, you're just not being supported. We're just seeing like that call buying isn't coming in. We're seeing puts close out, but calls are not YOLOing in as of this moment. Of course, that could change in a couple moments, and maybe we're going to see a different trend on the day. But what do we have here? Even this, something's off here, folks. There's a little bit of a mismatch here. A little bit of a mismatch. Don't be the noob that's caught up in this potential trap because it is screaming a lot of signs of a potential trap. The SPY right there is even getting... All right, we locked that in. So about 1,200 locked in on Apex. All right, is that the actual trend line snap? How confident am I in this trend line? How confident am I in this intraday reversal? A lot of puts just got purchased on the SPY. All right, I'm going to take a stab at it. All right, we're going to see if I'm reading this right. Well, not reading it right. You never know the next bar, but I was just patient waiting for the trend line break, and now the die are in the air. Either this is going to work or it's not, basically. Either this is going to work or it's not. Is it a fake out trend line breakdown? Maybe in hindsight, I should have done this on ES because ES was weaker, but obviously got tagged out on this first one, lit it right up, finally showed weakness, looked at the trend line. And I mean, if I could catch a flush on a day like today, it could be a huge flush and these could actually easily turn around. But I think what screwed me over here is the fact that I went on 2 contracts and then a couple minutes later, there was that pop. All right, let me close that out. Where the fuck's going on? Hang on, let me bring this up. Nope. Are they brutal fake out here? We snapped the trend line on both, and now we might be recovering on both. Oh, patience. Quad witching days are such a pain in the ass. Quad witching days are such a massive pain in the ass. What are we doing? What are we doing? Is it really going to be saving it right now? We don't need this at the moment. Let me go to this. You could see at 9:52, the SPY took somewhat of a hit. So did the the NASDAQ, and then the Mag 7. Like the Mag 7 is what's keeping things up. Look at that. From 9, just a rip in options. It's call buying and put selling. That's pretty much as strong as it can get. It took a little bit of a stutter step just now, right when the NASDAQ did, right when the SPY did. But I'm wondering if it's this retest of the trend line that's now going to snap it. The Qs were seemingly making a run up to this low from yesterday and kind of caught itself as at the low from 2 sessions ago. What are we doing? Tesla's showing a crazy amount of strength. Nvidia's not really doing anything. Netflix is going up. Meta's kind of grinding up. MSTR is kind of grinding up. Microsoft's kind of grinding up. Apple, Coin, Rum. So things are in the red, but they are trying to get a bit of a recovery here. What's VIX doing? The VIX is holding 20, but also really not trending up or down. Just massively indecisive. So thus far, price action on the Qs is pretty strong, pretty indecisive on the SPY. We haven't made a fresh high. We really haven't made a fresh low. The Qs had a little bit more of a trend. I think that is due specifically, like exactly to this Mag 7 strength. Because you can see the NASDAQ, it's not there. In fact, the NASDAQ is starting to take a hit. And even the SPY, yeah, it had a bit of strength, but clearly just like, not like this is absurdly strong in the Mag 7. So someone rotating some pretty impressive positions right now and really, really just getting those calls and getting out of puts. Wow. Will it be able to recover this trend line? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Are they gonna do it? Are they gonna do it? It's trying to decide. Everyone's on the edge of their seats. Which way do we break? So we've now been rejected twice at this. Ran up to the open interest level, smacked. Ran up to it again, smacked hard enough that we broke the trend line and made a fresh low. Maybe we're gearing up for this third test, but clearly 5625, not only a massive open interest level, but you're actively seeing traders react to it. Lots of open interest here. At first, it was going to serve as support. That's why I drew it out, because I was just basing it off the closing value from yesterday. But the fact that we're coming at it from the south side, obviously support turning into resistance, resistance, resistance. So we're going to see. And also, it's kind of being bolstered, if you will, by the low from yesterday at 5632. So what do we have going on? We puke for the first minute, and then since there, we're pretty much just range bound on the SPY. I think without the strength in the Qs right here, the SPY would have already been plummeting. The only real strength we're seeing in the market is tech. Energy puked, bouncing back a little bit right now. Financials down, utilities down, industrials down, healthcare down, real estate down, consumer staples down, consumer discretionary actually up. So discretionary and tech are the two subsectors that are up, but pretty much everything else is down, which is why if we didn't see tech doing what it's doing, the SPY would have definitely been battling it out here at 5,600. So on a relative measurement, you're seeing tech show some strength this morning. On a relative measurement, definitely seeing tech show a bit of strength. I wonder, is this it though? Just tagging getting the upside gap fill on the Qs right here to 476.18. That's the low from yesterday. There was a literal gap in the chart. We know there's high odds of that getting filled. So that gap is aligning with big resistance here on SPX. I wonder if this is all she has in the tank. Clean up the chart, fill the gap, run into resistance and get smacked. Obviously, at this point, you could watch this new trend line, or you could watch the snap of 5,610, and then we're coming back to the gigantic battle zone of 5,600. What can we see from the flow? The SPY flow is actually, it was weak, now showing some strength. What was it? Some puts being closed on the S&P 500 starting at this 936. That stopped though. We have some longer duration calls coming in right now. NASDAQ, really messy, choppy. And then the Mag 7, well, you got a huge amount of puts being closed, but now it's going the other way. Watch that. This might be the reaction zone of the day. This might be the reaction zone of the day. Your ad ADHD should be framed. Well, what? Your ADD ADHD should be framed on the wall of the New York Stock Exchange. I don't know what that means. Your ADD ADHD / ADHD should be framed on the wall. I don't know what you mean. I guess good one. Let's say Qs, it just at 9:40, 10 minutes into the day, completely switched. We had the opening weakness, then we pumped. Let's see. The Qs coming up to a potential additional trend line test. Let's see. Are you gonna break down? The Q's testing it. Definitely testing it. And then the SPY coming up roughly around 5,613, but I think I'd be more interested in 5,610. 5,610. Okay. Is this it? Was that all she wrote today? We're about to find out. The only strength was specifically in the tech sector and, well, to be fair, consumer discretionary, XLY. Everything else, consumer staples, energy, financials, all taking a bit of a hit. Watch for the VIX. The VIX is kind of going up right now. Kind of going up. We have the SPY coming in for its trend line test, and we have the Q slightly below it. Let's see if the buyers step in once again. What do we have? 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 All right. Buy to open. 20. Market. Little bounce right here. Are they collecting it? All right. I'm a little nervous to trade. I mean, I like that I already made the 1K on Vanquish here. Locked it in. Locked it in. It feels like I'd be pushing my luck to trade again. So I might just keep that profit for right now. Might just keep it. But the SPY is testing here. The Qs, dude, are they going to save themselves again? The bulls keep stepping in right at the proper point. Will they have enough in the tank to keep it going? That is the goal. Ooh, Mag 7 turning a bit here. Let me go to the 30 second. It might be a bit more clear. So you could see something changed at 940. The delta was weak, and then all of a sudden it exploded. But seems like the faucet turned off at 9:58. So maybe it is truly a change of hour. We just hit 10 a.m. Maybe that's the old reversal. The NASDAQ is really messy. Like, it's kind of all over the place, not really the most informative. And then looking at the SPY, strong, got hit, strong, got hit. It was on a relative basic weaker. Like, if you look at the price, it's having a tough time breaking out of any range. If anything, you could just say, yeah, it's been kind of range bound. We had this opening low, and then since then rejected at the key level we already laid out before market open. Rejected, smack back down to this trend line. Even on this, even if it fails the trend line, of course there is that chance of bouncing at the intraday low. If we were to get down here, I would say there would be slightly more odds and like a probability of it actually hitting 5,600. So I'll be more so watching that on this failure of the trend line, which it is just not happening. Every single time there's a little bit of weakness, you kind of have the options market coming in right here. Every time you're about to break down, see options market stepping in on the Mag 7, options market stepping in on the SPY. The question is, do they have enough money to continue that? If there is this downward pressure from all those in the money puts kind of burning off, there is going to be downward pressure from really a charm perspective. Will they have enough money to keep pushing this up? Because as this goes down and down and down, the delta on these in the money puts will be increasing, which means that these market makers are going to be hedging more to the downside. So enough bulls need to come in to counteract what is happening as time really progresses. Because remember, with all these in the money puts, if they're in the money, the delta is going to get closer and closer to 100, technically negative 100, as time goes on, which means that these market makers are going to have to hedge more and more from all those in the money puts as time passes. So there's a natural pressure to the downside right now based on just who's in the money and who's out of the money. And with that happening, every single minute that passes, market makers have to sell a little bit more. So that means you have to have natural bulls in the market to counteract it. They have to have enough buying to keep it going up. And that's going to be the question. Do they have enough to actually pull that off? And we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Gold hit an all-time high yesterday. Hoping for a squeeze on my silver. Maybe hoping for a squeeze on AMC. We're going to find out. We are below the trend line on the SPY now, and the Qs are right at there. So we got smacked, seemingly a fake out, and then we pumped. What in tarnation? What in tarnation? We're just yeah, this is the battle of the bulls and the bears. The battle of the bulge. Options are now going flat. Options are now going flat, suggesting that it's indecisive. The 5-minute, the 10-minute, the 30-minute, and the 4-hour are still bearish. The 5-minute, the 10-minute, the 30-minute, and the 4-hour are still bearish. I would not be personally looking for a bullish opportunity just because you're fighting price momentum. When you these are just basic EMA clouds. But when all 8 agree, bearish, 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 bearish. When all 8 timeframes agree for both ES and NQ that there is bearish price momentum, what edge do you have? What's the purpose in going long? I don't see it at all. I actually don't think there is a good reason to be going long when you can't even say, oh, but the 5 minutes turning. Oh, not even the 5 minutes turning. So for this is a game of patience, in my opinion, of waiting for the bearish opportunity where you could get in with low risk. I took a stab at it this morning, did not pay out quite yet, but there's still quite a bit of time left in the day. Quite a bit of time. Matt, can you explain buying and selling pressure? Because you've talked about how every trade requires a buyer and seller, so that isn't always equal. Yeah, that they're simultaneously true. When I was just saying about buying and selling pressure is the idea of what market makers are going to have to do throughout the day today. And they're going to be coming in selling because of the in-the-money puts. Of course, there's buying and selling pressure. I've always told you that there's buying and selling pressure. There's no such thing as buying and selling volume because every trade has a buyer and a seller. So I think you're conflating two different things. Of course, there's buying and selling pressure. That's hitting the bid or hitting the ask. That's the pressure. But I guess that's it. I don't know how else to say it. There is always going to be buying and selling pressure. Buying pressure pushes it up. Selling pressure pushes it down. There's no such thing as buying and selling volume. And I think you're confusing those two terms. I'm a permabull too, but people need to understand when and how to play the downside. Well, of course, in the long term as an investor, it pays to be a bull. I would never say the long-term bears win this game. Just no stats actually suggest that ever. Ever. But in short bursts, yeah, you can make a lot of money being a bear. I'm a perma koala. Well, the SPY breaking that trend line. The Qs try to bounce back up, smacking theirs. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What in tarnation? Oh, brother. We are, I guess, trying to find some patience. Look at this 474.50. That's the recent low at 953. The SPY's going for this intraday low. Basically, the Qs are losing their steam, and that was the only thing. The Mag 7 was the only thing keeping up the SPY. We're making a very quick speed run to the bottom side of our opening range, which we have literally not escaped today. So watch 5605, but really there is support pretty close by. Highly recommend watching that. Support very, very close by. All right, let's see which way we will or will not break today. Maybe finding some support, maybe not. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. All right, will it break? Won't it break? Here's a quick look at the flow. NASDAQ taking a bit of a hit. The Mag 7 turning a little bit, starting at 958. And then the SPY is actually still going flat. Still going flat as price is also, I guess, arguably flat. Everything is flat today. We're just waiting. We doing this thing? All right, fresh low on SPX. Watch for a reaction. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if on the very first attempt there is a reaction because it's that important of a level. If it does snap, we're talking about going all the way down to here. But that's a giant if. I want to be clear about that. It's an if-then statement. If we break, then we go. If we bounce, then back up to 5625. Remember, we're just playing the bull case. We're playing the bear case. We're playing it accordingly. And I am awkwardly looking at my puts to see if they are gaining any value. And unfortunately, they are not gaining value as much as I wanted it to be because we are running out of time. Time. Timety, time. That is what I need. What I need today. All right. Are we going to quickly just go back into here? What in tarnation? What in tarnation? All right. Well, while we're waiting for this breakdown or not, remember this whole thing you could be trading with much ease on Vanquish. You could do 35% off with code Goonie. That's going to get you 35% off on their plans if you want to trade options. And right now, Apex is running an 80% off deal. So if you would rather trade futures, Goonie on both of these, Goonie on Vanquish, Goonie on Apex, 80% off on Apex. This is for futures trading. And then right here on Vanquish, same thing, code Goonie, but this is more for options trading. It's in the whatever. Look in the description of the video to find the links. But once again, code Goonie, Goonie, will get you good deals on both Vanquish for options trading and Apex for futures trading. These are both SIMDA funded, as in you're basically risking someone else's money. Surprise, surprise. We're getting a bounce a little early. Came in at 5603. 5603. Interesting area to bounce. I thought at that point we'd at least hit 5601 or something like that, but maybe the bull showed up. Actually, we could figure this out pretty easily. What happened there? What happened with the bounce? Yep, call stepped in, puts closed out. Pretty evident right there. I mean, you could see it on this pump. You have some 0DT call buying and you have some 0DT puts being closed out. The question is how much follow through are they really gonna have? Stay tuned. Look at that call buying. Started right at 10-12 and just got that pop. Puts got closed out, but now they're going flat. The puts really don't, I guess, feel the need to capitulate here for whatever reason. They don't feel the need to capitulate. Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing today? Does it really want to test that trend line again? How many times are we going to get these fake snaps of trend lines? Feels like that's just been today's entire story of like, oh, almost breakdown. Nope, never mind. But it is interesting to see how much the chart or really price action is respecting these key levels. We like smacked, kind of a bounce, early bounce, but then more of a clear bounce. We're just ping-ponging in between the key levels, and that's exactly why it is incredibly important to know what these key levels are, because that's where you should be expecting the reaction. I think right here, this is a really good reason of why you should be watching SPX instead of SPY, because the rejection and the bounce levels seem arbitrary. Okay, why do we get rejected at 560.20 and then bounce at 558? You could be like, okay, that's a whole dollar value, but really were that many buyers there? And then this is a confusing level to get rejected at. But in reality, it becomes so much more clear if you're looking at the SPX levels. Oh, 5625, oh, 5,600. So just to kind of show you a real-time example of the big money, they're reacting to the levels in the open interest on SPX, which is far more popular and a larger traded product than SPY. I know that the dollar value scares some retail traders, so they're like, okay, yeah, I'll just only watch SPY and whatever. If you want to trade SPY, trade SPY. But in terms of identifying support and resistance, it is incredibly important to look at SPX over SPY, just because that's what big money's paying attention to. They're not looking at the SPY levels. I know if you are listening to like whatever mainstream media, this, that, the other thing, they're going to maybe be quoting SPY, but I'm telling you, SPX is the major product that all the big institutions, hedge funds, insurance funds, that's what they're trading. They're not trading SPY. So if you want to get a better idea of like seemingly clear support and resistance that doesn't make sense on SPY, like why are we getting bounced there? Why are we getting rejected there? Like what's going on? You might want to just look at SPX, the actual index, to see like, oh, okay, it's just like a key technical level, a key psychological level. So they're going to be very correlated in terms of their price movement, but they don't have that association of, oh, just move the decimal over by 1 and it's the same value. You could see here, if you move the decimal over, it'd be 561 versus 559. So unfortunately, it is not created in such a way that it's just like 1/10 of the size. You could say that it's roughly 1/10 of the size, but it doesn't really, unfortunately, like give you the clarity that you might need. So that was something that I learned early on in my like own trading, where I'm like, why is the SPY seemingly reacting to random levels? And then instead I just started looking at SPX. I was like, oh, it's just key $100 levels, key $50 levels that they are reacting to. So I was like, that actually makes it a lot more clear. But once again, if you want to trade SPY instead, go for it. But if you're looking for the key levels that might be of interest to you and probably should be of interest to you, you should probably be looking at SPX. Speaking of that, SPX trendline rejection, we bounced, broke it, made a fresh low, returned all the way up, reevaluated, got smacked again, and then I've been redrawing this Q1, so that doesn't quite count. But maybe we'll go to the 3-minute just to see it. Dude, we just need a break one way or the other. Inherently, the market is still being incredibly indecisive, with, I would argue, the bears having the slight upper hand as of right now in the current situation. But we just need to wait for the snap on the day, because then finally we're going to have something that is tradable, and that's where we can make our money. There was some signs here and there that maybe we were going to snap, but not quite. Not quite there, Tonto. Not quite there, Tonto. So patience. Here's a quick look at the flow. I see some people asking. Not going anywhere at the moment. You could see the 0 DT on the SPY flat, and we did try to break out here on the longer duration, but kind of got faded. Even on the NASDAQ, nothing really. The Mag 7 was crazy strong up until 958, and ever since then also getting faded. So will it recover and put in a higher low? Maybe. Will it capitulate and put in a fresh low? I don't know. That's what we're sitting here for. All I can tell you is that the bearishness is in the S&P 500, and the strength is not just in the NASDAQ, but it's uniquely in the Mag 7. So if you're looking for a bullish opportunity, which I'm not the biggest fan of today, but if you happen to be, you might want to look in the Mag 7. That's where the positive flow is going. The rest of the market is actually kind of having a rough time thus far today. So if you're trying to be a bear, I would actually stay away from the Mag 7 because that's where the unique strength is. So a clear strength is in the Mag 7. Clear weakness is in these other sectors like here. Oops. Energy hit a fresh low. Financials hit a fresh low. Utilities hit a fresh low. Industrials hit a fresh low. Healthcare hit a fresh low. Real estate hit a fresh low. Consumer staples are not looking so good, but consumer discretionary at one point was actually looking pretty good today. So the strongest sector is tech, specifically the Mag 7, then followed by consumer discretionary, and then every other subsector is like not looking that good. So just wanted to, I guess, keep you guys apprised to that particular situation of if you want to look for specifically a bullish or bearish position, you should play the things that are either uniquely strong or uniquely weak, obviously aligning with your bias. The 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, and 4-hour are still bearish. The 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour are still bearish, but I should note that the 5-minute might be attempting to break out on the NASDAQ if it takes out the intraday high, but the rest of the time frames are still pretty far away from actually getting positive bullish momentum. Right here, we're still in the chop zone. The SPY, after minute 1, like as soon as you get into minute 2 of this day, we have not broken that range. We almost broke out. We spent a little bit time below. We spent a little bit time above. So effectively, we've just gone nowhere today. So just wait, because we are, whoa, the Mag 7 just turned. Okay, be careful now because I see the Mag 7 trying to go up, but look at this. The delta is selling off. We have calls being sold and puts starting to be purchased. Like I said, I'm not a fan of chasing in the bullish direction today, but right now, just to show you like actually quantifiably, you can see options are turning right here and they're still turning. So be careful. This might end up being like kind of that high that I guess we'll wait for the retest of this, but just looking at the options flow right now, the delta is definitely taking a hit. That's a dangerous time to be a bull. The NASDAQ got some sort of a pop. The SPY got some sort of a pop too. Maybe it's switching. Maybe there's like some strange rotation that no one's telling me about, but patience. On a quad witching day, if you can catch the trend of the day, you can make good money. The difficult part is being patient enough to wait for that like the trend to actually establish and get going. You don't need to rush in early. I thought I saw the trend being established a bit early today. The weak point, like just to, I suppose, be self-critical of like what I did and what I didn't do today. The weak point for me was on a quad witching day. Probably shouldn't have been trading 2 contracts. With that, it's still kind of a bad beat because I was in it 90 seconds before the trend that was apparent switched. But even that, maybe I should have waited for more than 8 minutes to pass. Generally, I try to wait for those first 10. Had I waited for those first 10, I would have completely avoided it, but who knows? I might have then been caught up like in this mess here at like 10:03 or something like that. But you never know. Hindsight bias is always going to be 20/20, folks, so you can't really, I guess, like be too self-critical on random events, which the random events would be other traders either getting aggressively bullish or bearish or a random tweet or True Social or something like that. So let's just wait. We saw some clear bearishness. Now we're seeing some clear bullishness, but the bullishness in the Mag 7 is confusing me because we were literally just clocking it for getting hit. Oh, it turned around a little bit, but see how it's starting to get mismatch? The options market is getting weaker and price is actually trying to turn here. Definitely a noteworthy mismatch. The NASDAQ has just been drunk all day, like kind of just whipping easily. We're actually seeing the SPY pick up here. More puts are being closed. So it's the same thing. If people aren't getting into calls yet, this delta is popping up here because of puts being like capitulated basically. So people who are in puts are saying, dude, I am done with this shit. And they are kind of moving on with their life. The Qs are back to a new intraday high in real time. And on top of that, the SPY almost tagged it, but it's running into this same issue right here. We're just back up to the intraday range right at this massive open interest level. If it does break out, there's resistance pretty close by at 5632. That is the low from yesterday on SPX. So I'd be watching that, but like no one should be stunned here. We just ran up to a level and surprise, surprise, you already have a reaction, a price reaction. So we're still stuck in this purgatory. We are stuck in the purgatory that the witches put us in. The quad witching purgatory. The old quad witching purgatory. What are we doing? What are we doing, witches? What are we doing, witches? Are we actually going to get above it? We're testing. Whenever you come to a test, 50-50 shot. You either pass or you fail. So I have like no particular prediction if we do. I'm just watching for the reaction. If it breaks and holds, yeah, you might want to watch 32, but then it becomes interesting because back up to 50 kind of gets us to an important transition zone. But then if we get smacked, yeah, surprise, surprise, we're looking back in this 5-point region between the intraday low and this additional key open interest level. A lot of trading, folks, remember, is just waiting, waiting, waiting. I know when you do wait a lot, you almost feel as if you should be trading and should be doing something. But nah. Most of trading, especially for good traders, is actually doing nothing and just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. I'm a little bit disappointed on the day. I thought from this, where we opened and this aggression to the downside, I really thought the battle would be like swinging around 5,600 and then ideally right around now, beginning that puke all the way down to 5565, maybe 5550. So my hopes and dreams for what the day would be thus far being thwarted by the fact that we're just waiting. We're just waiting. We're just waiting. Oh, getting smacked at the intraday high. The Q's making a new intraday high. This one's pretty easy. We don't really need this trend line anymore, but you could easily watch this Q's just because there's been so much strength in the Mag 7. Look for a snap and a hold below this trend line because then that actually might be representing a true change of intraday trend. And pretty evidently, at least within the tech sector, the intraday trend thus far has been bullish. Like without a doubt, it's been bullish. So let's see if that changes to align with the overall momentum and also the overall option structure. I find that when you have price action aligned with price momentum and options flow, that's when you're going to make the good money. When things within that spectrum don't align, that's when I think you're playing at a huge disadvantage. I know there's many people who are literally just playing off of price, and it works and works and works until it doesn't. Same thing with options, same thing with price momentum. I think you're looking for the alignment of all three of those things, and then that's where the good money is to be made. If you're just looking at price going up or down, you don't know if like it's how strong it is, where the terminal point might be. If you're just looking at price momentum, well, okay, what if price action is going against you? And if you're just looking at option flow, well, okay, like you're not really considering price. That's why I think you deeply, deeply need to consider the combo of those three. You want to look at the combo of all three of those to see what in the world either is or isn't happening. And I don't think any one of them is more or less important. Of course, price is what matters when you get into the position, but in terms of like determining like what a good entry would be, I truly wouldn't weigh one of those more or less than the other. I think you're always looking for the combo of price action, price momentum, and then on top of that, options flow. So obviously I use spot gamma to track the options flow, which we see bullishness right now. I just use any charting to see the price action of, are we making higher highs, higher lows, breaking down structures. And then for momentum, I just use these EMA clouds. So momentum, price action, well, like really the structures of it, and then the options flow. That's probably the most concise way I could put it. You want to look for the alignment of those three. And then as a bonus, if you see the alignment of those three across both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100, that's even better. When you see, okay, like we're seeing the exact same story being told by the entire market and also on the tech side, just because we know the tech side is so incredibly dominant in terms of its market cap, those are where the good trades are to be made. So that's what's making today a little bit more complicated, which, I mean, in all reality, you kind of could have prepared for, because it is quad witching. Right now, we see bearish price momentum. The options chain is also bearish, as in it's put dominated, but then we're seeing positive options flow and also positive price structure. So you have two on the bearish side, two on the bullish side, and that's actually same for both ES and NQ, for the S&P 500 and for the NASDAQ. So as of now, things are just like not aligning. And so you just have to wait and wait and wait. And even when you have the patience to wait for the proverbial pocket aces to be dealt to you, from there, you still then just have to have even more patience to understand that, okay, even when you're waiting, it might, like, you could be dealt pocket aces and it still might not go in your favor and break against you. So watching this, starting to favor the bulls a little bit more is the fact that vol keeps coming down, and you have now the 5-minute trying to go bullish. So this might be the first little inkling we have of some bullish price momentum of the day, just happening right now at about 10:25. So just waiting to see if this actually holds, or if that's to the extent of the move and it gets smashed. But at this point, when I only see one thing really favoring the bulls on that, like 1 out of the 8 timeframes, 4 here and 4 here, I'm not chasing it to the upside. If anything, you're looking for the pump, and then a potential failure, and still looking for what. It's as simple as this. Do more things align with the bulls, or do more things align with the bears? The more things that align in one direction, you could be more confident in price actually following through in that direction. Right now, it's the larger picture favors the bears, the smaller picture is favoring the bulls. So then the question is the smaller picture going to end up continuing and transforming the overall larger picture, or is the smaller time frame more of a fluke and the larger time frame is going to reign supreme? And the answer to that, no one knows which way it's going to go, which is exactly why you just have to have that patience to wait. We're about an hour into the day now, so we do have that initial balance, which is IB is probably what you've referred to it as, or heard it referred to as. Once again, the IB is the initial balance. It's the first hour of the day. It's the from 9:30 to 10:30 Eastern. It's that high and that low. A lot of people like to try to trade that. It's literally just the established high and the low of the first hour. So people, and for good reason, there are interesting statistics surrounding that of, are you taking out the first hour's high, or are you taking out the first hour's low? Obviously, right now in real time, as we're discussing this, just the fact that we're a lot closer to the high means that it's probably more likely that we break that. But I'm also trying to take note of the fact, let's go to the 30-second here. Oh, the SPY ripped. It certainly ripped. It certainly did rip. The NASDAQ is starting to take a hit. And even the Mag 7 right here, the Mag 7, another divergent setup. We made a new price high, but options did not agree. So I'm seeing a bit of divergence in the Mag 7, which I think is of note. Let me see what I could do here. Disconnect, reconnect, disconnect, reconnect. VIX maybe picking up a little bit. Tesla's not really doing much. Are any other individual equities like really moving today? Broadcom got a good move. Netflix not so much. Palantir had a nice pump, but since then has been flat. Netflix, Meta, MSTR, Microsoft, Apple, Coin's going up. ASML not much. Rum's down by 8 cents, 1%. I'm not seeing any nice like trending things as of right now. Tesla had a pump. It is up 1%. Netflix might be one of the more stronger trending ones right now. Does anyone know if the stream is delayed? I mean, you could literally just see the time right here and check it against your own clock. So it is going to be different on your device and how good your connection is. I think the fastest people, it's around 10 seconds, but the slower your connection, it is going to be slower in general. But literally, there's a clock right here. You could just check it against your own clock. That'd probably be the most scientific way to see what the hell's going on. 1 minute. Yeah. If it's 1 minute for you, there's definitely something else going on because other people are going to be around 10 seconds. If it's 1 minute on your side, you might literally just be able to fast forward the stream. The average person should, I believe, be around somewhere between like, I want to say like 15 seconds is the average. We're kind of waiting. We're just waiting. I'm kind of waiting to see if this overall trend right here holds on the Qs. Waiting to see. What can I do? All right, I don't need that. What I do need is to check this out. All right, new. All right. What do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Perfecto. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, perfect. What is that? 517. That doesn't seem right. Hang on. What problem are we having now? Degen. All right, save. Okay. All right. Oops, I'm on the wrong screen, so this should be now loading for you. Yep, we're awkwardly stalling out. Surprise, surprise, at the exact level we've been stalling out. Maybe we break and go. Granted, we do have a higher high and a higher low recently, so the price structure is a little bit more bullish, but we are running into clear options resistance at 5625. So maybe we reverse or maybe we break and rip to 5632, which is yesterday's close. Just waiting. Right now, price action is literally telling us nothing. We see that the Qs are kind of getting stalled out themselves at yesterday's low of around the low 476s. So honestly, at this point, you just have to wait. If you're trying to predict a break or a bounce, you're kind of wasting your time. Just wait. Set an alert for a fresh high, set an alert for a fresh low on whatever time frame you care about, and just wait for that alert to come through. But to be able to predict, it's kind of silly because you're attempting to predict what people are about to do, the trades in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. You don't know which way they're going to trade. You don't know how people are going to react to it, especially on a quad witching day like this, especially when we see price momentum is bearish, price structure and action in the short term is bullish. We know the options chain is put dominated, but then yet we see options flow is bullish on the SPY and on the Mag 7. So there's quite a few, I suppose, things disagreeing at the moment. So just wait. Just wait. We don't have to like overcomplicate it. We're here looking for the basic layups. We don't have to look for the Steph Curry 3-pointer from half court for no reason. We could just wait for like the super fucking evident easy ones and let the complicated trades just be for someone else. My algo says it's going to go up or down. Damn, that's a good one. Do you sell that algo? Is there a way I could get in on that? All right. Well, while we're waiting for this to happen one way or the other, are we going to break here? Oh, brother. 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 I'm about to do something pretty degenerate, but sometimes degeneracy does pay. Sometimes degeneracy does pay, and I want to remind everyone of that. Does it pay in the long run? Most likely not, if we're being completely honest. Most likely in the long run, it does not. All right. We're just struggling here. We got this pump at 1020 since then flat. Got this pump at 1020 since then flat. So maybe this is the perfect time to actually do some giveaway fun, a new giveaway that I'm very excited to do. 118 of you have already figured out how to enter on locals, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Do exactly what these people are doing. I just need a way to contact you if you're the winner so I can give you what you deserve. So we're going to be picking 3 people from locals, but we'll do that last. So you still have time to enter on locals if you care. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. In meantime, let me get these other things loaded up so we can pick our winner off of. Let me make sure I have all my pens and papers and all that good jazz. I'm missing a notebook. Piper probably took it if I'm being honest. Piper probably took it. All right. So if you guys are listening in on YouTube, right here, random number giveaway. You can start guessing and you're going to see people guessing aggressively. It's going to be a correct number. We're not running it yet, but you can see how people are guessing numbers. That's exactly what you need to do. And it's going to be a random number between 1 and 100, inclusive of 1 and 100. And we are running it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who is it gonna be? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Is anyone gonna get it? Spud Rules. What did he guess? What was the right number? Usually it tells me the right number, but Spud Rules. Spud Rules. Congrats, Spud Rules, on getting it. If you could comment just the best way to reach out to you. So if you are the winner, we can give you your money. So tag Chaos, talk to Chaos in chat. But Spud Rules is representing the land of YouTube. So congrats to Spud. Big winner Spud here. All right. And then what we a little bit of a breakdown there I saw on the SPY, but let's see if it becomes anything. Random number from 10 to 25. Generate 19. All right, let me clean this up a little bit just so we can all see it. Make sure that there's no funny business going on. All right, we're going for the 19th comment below. Jefferson said it best. The 19th comment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Max the Bear. Max the Bear. All right. Okay. Jeez. Max the Bear representing Rumble. All right. So we have our YouTube rep. We have our Rumble rep. Same thing with you, Max. We just need a way to be able to reach out to you. in case you are the winner. So please talk to Chaos in chat. And then what else do we have to do? What else do we have to do here? The other major thing we have to do is pick our people off of locals. There's 143 of you. So 1 to 143. Let's find the 3 people. It is 81. It is 23. And it is 79. So 23, 79, and 81 in increasing order. All right. Each page has about 25. And by 25, I mean exactly 25. Feel free to count them up yourself. But this is 25. This is 24. This is 23. Virtual Chuck. So Chuck. Virtual Chuck is going to be the 23rd. Then we have to fast forward to 79. Like I said, there's 25 for each page. So the first page is 25. Second page is 50. Third page, if you go all the way down, is going to, let's let it load. Let's let it load. Let's let it load. That is going to be 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. Chai Mags? I don't even, JC? Chai Mags. We'll call you JC. We'll call you JC. 79, 80, and 81. Patrick Gallagher. Good old Pat. Good old Pat coming on down. We have our 5 competitors. We have Spud Rules from YouTube, Max DeBear from Rumble, Chuck JC, and Pat from Locals. All right, so we have that. Congrats to all of you guys selected on Locals. Chuck, JC, and Pat, you have already won a Locals account, so make sure you create an account on Locals so you can be credited a credit to get a free account. So once again, Chuck, JC, and Pat, if you can hear me right now, create an account on Locals, or excuse me, not on Locals, on Vanquish, so they can credit you a Vanquish account. Just, you might as well take care of that now while we're chit-chatting. Almost got a breakdown there on the queues, but I guess... alas, nothing happening quite yet. Yeah, it doesn't know what to do. It's really, we're just in the zone still. We're just waiting for the break of this zone. Oh, Jesus. It's going to be one of those afternoons, isn't it? It's going to be one of those afternoons, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour bearish, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour still bearish. The bears are dominating price momentum. In terms of price structure, the SPY's doing nothing. The Qs are a bit more bullish. In terms of option flow, it was bullish on the Mag 7, kind of turned off, and it's more bullish than bearish, to be fair, on the SPY here. Maybe it was turning. If it turned more aggressively, I would change my tune, but overall, the linear regression is clearly to the upside on that one. So, all right, that's the breakdown. And let me get this new specialty thing set up for all y'all. Let me get our newest way of finding our competitors. Hang on, I don't want to spoil the fun, so let me make sure. Let me get all your name. Spud. We got Spud Rules. We got Max DeBear. We'll go Max Bear. That's a sick name. Max Bear. We have, who's our other competitors? We have Chuck. We have JC. And we have Pat Gallagher. Pat. All right, we have all that. You know, the one thing we don't have, though, is our tunes ready. We don't have our tunes ready quite yet. Our tunes. We need our tunes ready to rip it. All right, let me get over to here. Oh, man, there's always so many good ones. I guess we could do... We had Pal popping off this week, so that might be a good one. All these songs, by the way, it's in the description of the video, but we have a whole independent channel called Tendies Tunes. So all the music you guys hear in the morning, it's just up there. You can listen to it for free. It's just all up there. But with that being said, I think we are ready to go. I found the song I wanted, and I'm happy to unveil to you the newest way. Oops, did I mess this up already? All right, done. We did that. Look at what we found. We found a way. Here, let's go full screen. We found a way. Oops, we have 5. We have our names. What it changed the names on me. My apologies. Let me get these names back to where they would be. We have Spud, we have Max Bear, we have Chuck, we have JC, and we have Pat. All right, those are our 5 competitors, and it will be a down and dirty, no rules, actually prison rules, duck race. You heard that right. We are officially unveiling the major champion, not just a marble race. We're trying it a little bit new here. We will be doing a duck race. So I know all the competitors today probably were mentally and physically and spiritually prepared for a marble race, but we are officially changing it up. So they're all going to be starting it off on completely fair, equal grounds because no one was prepping for this. No one was prepping for this whatsoever, which inherently just makes it fair. So let's see. We have Pat, we have JC, we have Chuck, we have Da Bear, and we have Spud. Spud's in the purple. Max Da Bear is looking like Frosty. Chuck is in the Santa hat. We have JC coming in with some of these slanted lines, and Pat coming in as a normal duck. You're ripping off Nutty. No, I got this from Nutty Bear. Nutty Bear and I were talking. I messaged him. I was like, dude, this is like the coolest thing ever. I 100% like Nutty Bar 100% deserves it. I saw it and I thought it was the most fascinating thing. And I DM'd him about it. I was like, dude, how do I do this? This is the coolest shit ever. Nutty Bar is the man. Dude, I'm a huge fan of Nutty Bar. So we're racing with these 5. It's going to be a winner take all for the cold hard cash. And we are rocking it in 3, 2, 1. All right, we are off, and it looks like Max the Bear, Mr. Frosty, with his big carrot nose, taking a very early lead. But Spud is pulling ahead. We see Chuck. Chuck is going a little slow here. Chuck is known for his strong finishes, but as of right now, it is a carrot nose length between Max the Bear and Spud. We have Pat and JC battling it out. Ooh, Max the Bear maybe using those aerodynamics to really get ahead here, like his duck build not slowing him down. But Max the Bear, I don't know, man, he's slowing down. While Chuck is kind of a second half of a racer. Chuck really is. So Chuck maybe readjusting the Santa hat, but JC kind of coming out of nowhere, breaking away from Pat. We're coming up on about halfway through the race, and this is just, it's a marathon. It's a battle of attrition. Max the Bear potentially using up all of his energy early in the race, while Spud is staying pretty constant. Pat, he's the quiet lurker on the top of your screen. Chuck is pulling ahead, but Spud's endurance is impressive. Max the Bear getting a little bit of a cooler right here. JC had an energy pop, but quickly falling to last, while Pat, slow and consistent, doing exactly what he needs to. He's not really losing gain, not really gaining grain. You wonder if he's going to have a kick at the end. You wonder if he'll have a kick at the end. All right, we are in the final leg of the race. A final leg of the race. Chuck is going. Is this going to be a runaway for Chuck? Is this going to be a runaway for Chuck? Chuck, he's leaving them all in the dirt. Chuck, uh-oh. Oh, Pat's making a move. Pat's making a move. Pat. Dude. Pat out of fucking nowhere. Dude. What? Pat coming out of nowhere. And Chuck, he kicked it too early. Common mistake in these races is you have Chuck, he almost had it, and he started to brag. He's looking over the shoulder. And then Pat with the kick of a lifetime. All right, here's the official standings. You have Pat, you have Spud, you have JC, you have Max, and you have Chuck in last. Pat, gold medal. Spud, silver medal. JC, the bronze medal, third place. Look at that. A photo finish. Pat, the kick of a lifetime. Wild moves from Chuck. You got to give it to him. Someone just yelled, puts on Chuck. Not enough carnage. All right, we'll see if we can find a duck death race next time, because you guys do seem insatiable for death. So maybe Maybe. I told you, the people's champ, normal duck like me. You guys were voting on Pet because he was the normal one. He's the normal one. You're like, dude, I see so much of myself in Pat's story. That's honorable. That's truly honorable. So congrats, Pat. I will be reaching out to you for your winnings, and then also Chuck, JC, and Pat. On top of that, you're going to be getting the Vanquish account. So congrats to everyone who entered. And obviously, shout out to Vanquish here, 35% off with that code Goonie. If you want to, you saw my accounts. I did the 1.2K there. This morning, locked it in. Didn't want to get caught up in any of this messiness. Dude, is this going to be the breakdown now? I feel like every single time I'm looking at this, I keep questioning, like, okay, is this the time we turn? Is this the time we turn? The bulls are having a heck of a time getting us up above this open interest level. There's a lot of open interest right at 5,625. Quite a bit of gamma there. 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejection, 4 rejection, 5 rejection. But yet the lows are getting higher. So the bulls are stepping in a bit earlier, but then the bears are still dominantly protecting this area, and or the bulls just keep taking the profits there. So will the 6 time be the charm, or is it just going to get smacked all the way down to here? But truly, the S&P 500 has not moved today. Minute 1, we puked. Then we were all range bound, except for 1 minute when we spent outside of the bar. So we spent a portion of a minute above the zone, a portion of a minute below the zone. And then other than that, we ain't doing anything. We ain't doing anything, which means you just have to wait. It would be a huge bummer if they waste such an exciting quadruple witching day of doing nothing. But that's just honestly what the market's giving us at this point. And there's a lot of mismatches across the board in between of like what filters I suppose I personally use. We're seeing price momentum bearish, price structure bullish, option structure bearish, options flow bullish. So there's kind of 2 in each category. So it's kind of just neutral, folks, which I would vehemently argue means that's a good time to just wait. Good time to just wait. A Trump announcement incoming. Is that actually true? Is he expected to talk, or are we just people are saying a Trump announcement? Is there a time on that? A Trump announcement? Do we have any other clarity on that from anyone? Any other clarity on that from anyone? This I'm seeing various people say a Trump announcement is incoming. Anyone? Do we have a time? Do we have info? Anything like that? I vote duck wrestling. We'll have to find a website if we do it. But yeah, no, I heard about this duck racing from a buddy, Nutty Bar Trading. He's another sim-to-funded trader. He's a really nice guy. But I was like, dude, how do we pull this off? Someone said 11. One person says 1 p.m. 11 a.m. Maybe we should talk in time zones, because in like 10 minutes, does anyone have where this might be? Where this might be? 11 a.m. Oval Office. Does anyone have a link for this? Trump, hang on. White House schedule. Donald J. Trump's public schedule. 11 a.m. The President and the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, deliver remarks. All right. At the Oval Office. So will this be streamed from the White House, maybe? So it is at 11 a.m. It seems like the fact that there's Pete is there makes me feel that perchance it's obviously related. Do they have a pending stream? Trump Oval Office. I'm looking to see if there's actually going to be a live stream of this. Live. How Trump shows off. No. News. I am not. Oh wait, what is this one? Trump and Hegseth make announcement from the Oval Office. Live breaking news coverage. Where? Okay, I found the AP. Okay. I think I found one here that seemingly will be it. Trump and Pete Hegseth deliver remarks. So I think we found something that should be this news. So we're going to see. We'll say a little bit later. Maybe. Oh, I was going to say, maybe this is the thing that's going to cause a little bit of market movement, but looks like the market might be front running a little bit, finally breaking out of this range. I guess in a weird way, you could call it inverted shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, breaking to the upside. We do have resistance close by at 5632. Above that, maybe 5650. Could be something of interest. Watching yesterday's low. So this interesting. The SPY made a new high, but the Qs didn't. And I'm saying it's interesting because for most of the day, the Qs were the thing leading the market higher, and now the SPY's leading the market higher. Which inherently means my puts are also getting fucking torched right now. Yeah, a lot of calls just came in. Across, well, on the indexes right here, NASDAQ popped, SPY popped, but then the Mag 7 actually kind of calm. So we're seeing some weird rotation relative to what we were seeing this morning. Someone said, is there other piece of breaking news, or is this people just trying to front run it? Trump and Defense Secretary. Okay, I found another link to this just in case. This is actually, it's being streamed from the Department of Defense. Live event coming up next, so we might as well stick around for this and see what the hell either is or isn't discussed. We might as well stick around at this point. So we have two different streams trying to figure this out. We did run up right to the low from yesterday. So SPX cleaned up its gap, cleaned up its chart by getting the upside gap fill, breaking out of the range that we were stuck in for pretty much an hour and a half. You have the NASDAQ 5-minute trying to go bullish, 10-minute trying to test, 30-minute and 4 hours still bearish. 5-minute on ES is now trying to test or break, but 10-minute testing, 30-minute, 4 hours still bearish. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just a lot of mismatch today. A lot of mismatch today. A lot of mismatch. I wonder if that was the trade of the day. Right here at 1012. Was 1012 the trade of the day? The SPY made a fresh low, but the Qs made a higher low. Was that the perfect time to really go long? 1012. Because it did kind of at 1012. So 1012, it started to dive here on the Mag 7. But then it started to pick up. So maybe a little bit after it, like these trend line breaks. Just doing a little bit of chart review. This breakout, I don't know. It started to look scary there, though. Right here. Because options was diving, and you had no idea at 1021 it was going to pick back up. All right. Price is holding. What time is it? It's almost 11. We are now waiting on one of these two streams to actually get rocking here. And we are expecting POTUS, Donald Trump, and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth brief the media March 17th. We got something coming in. Something. What is it gonna be? That is the golden question, folks. That is the golden question as I'm awkwardly squatting. Are we starting? Are we doing this thing? Hopefully they're not late today. Don't make us work too hard on a Friday, you know? Don't make us work too freaking hard on a Friday. All right, we are getting this range breakout. If you took that trade with the risk as the recent low, that's a quality trade. And at that point, like 32 is interesting. And now you're talking about 50. You're talking about 50. Do I just want to fucking ditch on this? I guess I could wait for this speech, or I could wait for a potential rejection at 50. I still have those puts that I need to do something with because I'm down, and I'm down pretty bad. So at a certain point, you just have to be reasonable and stop the hemorrhaging. At a certain point, you just have to be reasonable and stop the hemorrhaging. The close gap is all the way up to 63, and we're trading at 40. Eurozone consumer confidence, a little worse than they expected. All right. Yeah, you guys can hear it. I know the volume's a little soft. I'm just kind of waiting. Anyway, as we are waiting, shout out to Vanquish. Remember, if you want to do SIM funded options, Vanquish is the main place to be. Use that code Goonie. And right now, Apex is actually running a better deal. Instead of being 71% off, it's 80% off. So that's for futures trading. Right now, I'm personally in the rebuild of my own accounts. You guys know that. I'm aggressively trying to build out the buffer, which gives the odds of success low. But if I could pull off the buffer, it dramatically increases the odds of success. So right now, I'm still in the buffer build out phase. And I can't really personally be trading my own strategy until I get about 10K worth of buffer. So right now I'm in that painful restart phase of attempting to build out the buffer, trying to get about 10K in profit. So from 50K to 60K, was looking all right this week. Today, not looking so good, but there's still, I suppose, time left in the day, about 5 hours left in the day. So we're going to see either what we can or we can't do. But right now, Apex, they are running a better deal, 80% off. So check that out. Use the code Goonie on both of these. 35% off here on Vanquish, 80% off on Apex. We got a bit of a pop. Looks like we're already running a little bit late, I suppose. Running a little bit late. Why does it say March 17th? I guess they don't know the day. This is a live stream, and the stream started 26 minutes ago. So why does it say March 17th? I don't know. They don't know their time, but like literally I can see right here the stream started 26 minutes ago, and we're also waiting on the AP to start theirs, which theirs is at 11 a.m. So I have a feeling that this is just a bit of a typo, but that's a good call out. But yeah, started 27 minutes ago. I have a feeling it's, oh, and then even right here, White House, March 21st. Yeah, this is just a typo. It's just a typo. They say the 21st here, so let's wait. Let's see what in the world is happening. What in the world is happening? Where am I at? What am I trying to do? SPY grinding higher, Q's grinding higher. Tesla was pumped, then hit, now pumping back. Netflix is pumping all day. This is like the first breather it's really taking. Golly. Oh, I do want to let you guys know that on Apex, once in a while it bounces back and forth of what's cheaper. Resetting an account or buying a new one. With the 80% off deal, instead of paying 40 for the reset, it's actually going to be cheaper just to buy fresh ones. So once in a while, you just might want to double check like what's currently the best offering. But to buy a new one with that code Goonie to be $33, while doing a reset would be 40. So to save yourself $7 a pop, you might want to check out the whole new account situation. Netflix taking a little bit of a hit. How's Nvidia doing today? Picking up a little bit. We are hanging out right. Where was this? We overshot the low value, so we got the upside gap fill. We cleaned up the chart. Is this the start of an actual push, or is this like a brutal trap and they drop it all the way back down to 5,600? As the day goes on, I would say it seems as if the bulls are taking a bit more control on this situation. But remember, there's a lot that can still happen. I cannot stress this enough, how crazy quad witching days get. Quad witching days get notoriously crazy. So just be prepared. Be prepared for a little bit of insanity. We're just listening to some... I feel like this music that's playing in the background, we're almost getting I feel like there should be like an eagle flying above, like just ever so gracefully, ever just quietly, like just a really regal looking eagle, like just that's the vibe that I'm getting right now. I very much, it's a pet peeve of mine of how often these statements are just never on time. They're never, ever on time. I think that's like the one unifying aspect of politicians, left or right, is just none of them start these things on time. We're just always wait. Like, it's like, what's the point? Why tell the world 11? Just tell us 11:30, and then we want to get mad. Put it in your own schedule. It's at 11, but the fact that they're always perpetually a half hour late or more, what's the point? What is the point? All right, we got a little bit of a pop there. Maybe just putting in a potential higher low. Here's the overall situation. Just that grind to the upside. The SPY definitely showed some weakness. I'm surprised it didn't cause the Qs to crack here, but it was just because the Mag 7 was actually legit showing some strength. Oh, I guess I needed a bit more patience today. I really just thought with like a small movement that the vol would be so high that we would get like just larger swings, but actually this has been a pretty structured run back to the upside. Pretty structured run. The goal in question is, will it continue? Obviously, if you are a bull, just make sure to keep using the most recent low as your risk. You could use 20, you could use 32. If you want to be really conservative, you could use 34. Just if you're taking that bull trade, yeah, just ride the trend. And if you think the trend is like kind of getting canceled out, well, then just lock in your profits. But for it being a quad witching day, this is a movement for ants. This is for how everything was structured coming into today. Man, like I thought we were going to have a lot more fun. A lot more fun today. At least we had the duck races. The duck races, Pat's incredible recovery, the finish of a lifetime. He was Mr. Consistent throughout the entire race, and then just had a kick that historians will be fawning over for years and years and years. Dude, how much can I just randomly talk before we start this? Like, let's go, people. Am I the only one that gets irrationally angry about this? Am I the only? It feels like I'm the only one. This is why I calm down by fishing for digital shrimp. Some digital shrimp. Some digital shrimp. We're just waiting. Painfully waiting. Painfully. Spiritually, it's painful, I would say, is the real pain factor here. And even on that, we got a pop. There was like that burst right before 11 a.m. And since then, just nothing. We've stalled out. I was promised awesome price action today. And here we are with not awesome price action. I was promised phenomenal price action. I mean, I guess from 10-12 to now, you could actually pretty much argue it's been solid for the bulls, especially if you're playing something like the futures market. It's been pretty good. Come on, Tonto, give us something to work with, or just start this speech. Should we start a betting book on how late they're gonna be? Should we just do it in like 5-minute increments? Like we all get to throw in money on like the 5-minute spread that we think they're gonna start? No? Yes? At a certain point, it just is getting... we need a flux capacitor. It feels like we need a flux capacitor. 20 minutes to go. 22 minutes to go on what? This was supposed to start at 11. Did I see Trey's video? I did. I guess I don't really have any thoughts on it. I've made my thoughts pretty clear already on my previous tweets. I've actually made my thoughts explicitly clear. And I guess they haven't really changed from that. $100 say they start in 20 minutes. What speech today? We have some sort of joint speech between the president and the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. It was supposed to start at 11 a.m. It's on the schedule for 11 a.m. and we're all just kind of awkwardly waiting. The market got all jacked up right before it, and then it said, "What's happening?" It said inquisitively. It said not knowing what the fuck is going on. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Yeah. We're just... price structure, price action, clearly bullish. Throughout the day, we kind of had a fake out low here on the SPY, but ever since 10-12, and pretty much since the start of the day on the Qs, the higher highs and the higher lows have clearly been winning. The higher highs and the higher lows have clearly been winning. Damn. How did this look at 10:03? This pullback. This was a nice. No, that was against. I just keep looking at this 10-12 as a possible place to get in. I mean, it had to take balls because you're risking the low of the day on the SPY, but it looks strong on the Qs. Are they starting? No? Maybe? I have no idea. How long are we supposed to wait here for? What is this? All right. I'm just looking on Twitter to see if I can find any info. Maybe an updated time, perhaps. Maybe not an updated time. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. We're just waiting. Here we go. We kind of popped up. Maybe a retest of the low. Maybe a retest of 5625. It was resistance. Might be turning into support. So watch this transitional zone at 5625. Here's a quick look at the options flow. The SPY popped all the way up until 11. Clearly bullish today. And now we're fading it a little bit. The NASDAQ is getting crushed since 11. And the MAG 7 is still actually showing some strength. Still showing some strength on the MAG 7. Maybe. I don't. What? Does anyone even have an idea of what they might be talking about today? Is there any generic sentiment of what this might be, what this might not be? And, well, speaking of the 10-second lag, I guess to get the feedback from you guys, there's just going to be an awkward amount of lag. So the real question is, how do I kill 10 to 20 seconds of air while you guys tell me what this... I mean, could it be an update to Ukraine and Russia? But we're kind of already getting that. So could it be something with like Israel and Gaza? I mean, those are the only, like, Secretary of Defense. Those are like the two. Wait, someone said check the news feed. What do we have going on in the news feed? Trump awards Boeing next generation fighter jet contract worth billions. Musk leaves Pentagon after talks about China and tech. I'm not seeing anything with this. I'm confused. What was I supposed to be looking for? We're turning a little bit. Whatever's going on, the market's not the biggest fan. Whatever's going on, the market is not a fan. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Dude, I need a miracle today for me to not completely, like, just lose tens of thousands of dollars. I need a massive vomit, and it's all my fault. I was betting way too big. I was, like, overly confident for no reason. When really I should have just kept my basic size or been like, you know what, this is not breaking my way. Like, let's just kill it. Instead, I was doubling down, tripling down, and now I got myself in a bit of a pickle where I basically need chaos to break out today for me to have a bit of a fighting chance. Fat puts. It felt good. You loaded fat puts. Degenerate gambling. New fighter jet. Yeah, but I don't... Is that what this could possibly be about? We're testing this trend line for the gazillionth time on the NASDAQ, so maybe this is a legit breakdown. Hang on. Let me switch this over. Let me check one of these accounts. Disconnect. Reconnect. Let me see what the fuck is going on over here. SPY testing it. We're coming right back here. This is kind of going to be the make it or break it point. Are we going to turn from resistance to support, or is this just a fake out breakout that gets faded and it's a classic trap just being set on quad witching day? That's what we're looking at. That's trend line bounce, trend line bounce. What the fuck do we have going on here? We're 37 to 54. 37 to 54. All right, let me bring this up. Sorry, I'm on the wrong screen. My apologies. 37. 37 to 54. All right, I'm loaded up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Well, that doesn't seem right. What in tarnation? Dude, any time to start this would be mucho appreciated, team. Let's get this show on the road. Are the Qs going to break down? Is the SPY going to break down? Initial tests of resistance, rejection, 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 breakout. It is support. Is it going to hold right at this perfect trend line? The Qs are at the trend line. This is probably going to be really coming up. This will be like the decision of the day if I had to guess. If I had to guess. Why is my stuff lagging over here? Is my ping rate breaking down? Nope. I guess I'm just seeing things. I guess I'm just losing my mind, as always. Which I suppose is par for course on this particular show, as I'm live streaming my descent into madness. Just a quick little live stream of my descent into madness. But hey, it's all fun with friends, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. That's where I need it to be. What do we have here? Are we actually going to get this breakdown? It's getting a little questionable, I suppose. We had this weird puke, a little bit of a bounce. Now doesn't know what it wants to do. Here's a look at the S&P 500. Very strong up until 11. Turn of the hour took a little bit of a hit. Started dumping at 10-12. We're getting a bit of a reversion right now. The Nasdaq has been straight up dumping since 11:02. The Mag 7 is flat, even though we're like clearly seeing some weakness here. What am I seeing over here? What in the world am I seeing? What in the world am I seeing? What in tarnation? Da, 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 da. How long do we have to wait for this? Like, what is the appropriate time that we give them to wait here? What is the appropriate time? The Qs might be breaking down. The SPY is testing. Qs might be breaking down. The SPY is testing. Oh, brother. Oh, we'll begin shortly. Okay. Okay. This is something we could work with. This is something we could work with. Maybe it's something we could work with. I don't know. perchance it is something we could work with. I got excited because they turned the music off. So it feels like there was some sort of progress being made, but I think they just rugged us. They rugged it. They rugged it. Come on. Where are we at? SPY just below the trend line. Same thing with the Qs. What are we doing? This is getting awkward. Here's the SPY flow taking a bit of a hit. Here, I'll go to the 5-second. Looking a little heavy there, trending down. Nasdaq's definitely trending down. Mag 7 just caught a bid. We're just below 25 here. This is like the key pivot level. Am I losing my mind? What is going on? Nothing on AP, and this one just says we'll begin shortly. SPY back above the trend line. We're right at that pivot level. It tried to break out, came right back down. This will be the decisive move of the day. Maybe we could see it here. You can see it a bit better there. Stuck. Broke out, came right back down. Is it going to get sucked back into this or not?
Order submitted.
Order submitted. I'm just doing dumb sim trades right now on futures. Dumb sim trades because my actual trades did not go so hot. We're back in the zone there, Tonto. Back in the zone. The zone of chop. The zone of death. Nasdaq. SPY. SPY is like petering out here. The Mag 7 had a pop. Kind of gave it back. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. I'm looking for a miracle here. Your boy's looking for a miracle here. No, come on. No, bullshit. How much was that? Literally half a point. That's just not fair. That's just not fair. That's not how this game should be played. That's not how this game should be played. SPY's below it. Nvidia turning a little bit here. They turned off the music. I don't know what to tell you. I got all excited because I thought we were going to get rocking. And apparently we are doing the opposite of getting rocking. We are still just awkwardly waiting. Awkwardly waiting. Very, very awkwardly waiting. Someone said Jesus 10. Dude, it's sim. Those ones aren't real. That's, like I said, I'm bored trading sim. Not real, mi amigo. Not real. If it were real, my heart would be like ripping right now. SPY's below it. All I can tell you is we're at this back end here. So I wonder if we just got sucked into this. I wonder if Trump signed a contract with Boeing for a new fighter jet. That was a while ago. That was what, 10, 20, 30 minutes ago. Do you have any tattoos? I do not have any tattoos. I do not have any tattoos. We did break this trend line. That could be an interesting play. Tough risk, though. Dude, are they going to start this? Mag 7, after hitting an intraday high on the Delta, bleeding off a little bit. Same thing with the SPY here. Same thing with the SPY here. Thoughts on Trey's video yesterday? I've already been asked that. I made all of my thoughts explicitly clear. I have no updated thoughts. It was out there. We talked about it on stream multiple times. I made tweets about it. They're still up there. I have no thoughts whatsoever. No new thoughts whatsoever. Dude, are they going to get going with this? 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute. See how this 5 minute potentially fake breakout? That's why you want more things to align to not get caught up in these situations, especially the 10 and the 30. Especially the 10 and the 30. There's just too many fake outs. Well, that was easy. Well, those accounts, once again, these are not PA accounts. These are just bullshit sim, but I don't know, something fun to do while we're waiting. And the reason I did it is because why not get other accounts ready when the deal's so good? I only want to buy these accounts when they're either 80 or 90% off to save my money, because why would I do the 71% off thing? So once again, if you want to do 80% off, the deal is running right now on Apex. It is code Goonie, and on Vanquish, it is code Goonie. 35% on Vanquish. This is for options trading. This is for futures trading. Code Goonie will work on both. So just wanted to call that out, especially if you're looking for something degenerate to do right now. What's on a Matt Kohrs charcuterie board? Just a lot of Slim Jims, if I'm being honest. A lot of Slim Jims, if I'm being honest. Maybe a kind of a very decadent cut up like Snickers bar or something like that for a little bit of dessert on it. You guys know how it is. Yeah, Slim Jims. If I'm feeling real fancy, like if I'm meeting like a fancy schmancy person, maybe I'll move up and get like a higher quality Slim Jim, like the big chomps or something like that. Maybe something like that. What the fuck? You don't want to follow advice from a guy that had 2 mil pissed it away in blackjack and other dumb shit. No, not really. Are you back to the 50K ones? Yeah. So I actually made a video that should be out now. Actually, I don't know. Mr. Mod, did we set that video live? We can set it live if it's ready to go. This content is on both Rumble and on YouTube, but due to the way that the YouTube algorithm works, we're now putting the evergreen content, like kind of the Apex journey content, on a different channel. It is in the description of the video. Once again, this is all on YouTube, but right now you guys are on the Matt Kohrs show. If you just go to Matt Kohrs, so right now you're watching on the Matt Kohrs show. If you just go to Matt Kohrs, you're going to find this channel. Basically right here. Here's the picture. There's Velvet Kohrs. It's all of these. This just went live. So it's in this video where I explain why I'm using the 50K accounts. And I guess the TLDR is that I'm the most comfortable with it because I've done the most work with them. But then on top of that, it just like they have the best ratios to pass the test. So if you look at the ratios of the 50 versus the 100 versus the 150, the ratio of the profit target versus trailing drawdown is the best on the 50K compared to the 150, the whatever, any of them, the 100, the 150, the 250, any of that. So because it has the best ratio, I figure it was the best account to get started with. And because I got started with that one, I'm now just biased to it because I've done the most work with it. But beyond that, in this video, folks, you just saw me pass all of these tests. I just passed 20 tests in one trade in one day. The tactic that I use is explained in this video right here. So if you're having a tough time passing Apex evals, literally how to pass Apex eval in one day, 2025 tips and guide right there. It's all explained. Check it out. It's on the Matt Kohrs Show. This is up on Rumble as well. So if you're on Rumble and you're like, dude, I'm not watching a YouTube video, I understand. It's up there. Just look at the channel. It's right on the main channel there. It's split out onto a different channel on YouTube just because of like how the algorithm promotes stuff. It doesn't like promote daily content and evergreen content. The algorithm's too stupid and it gets confused. So we split out a channel for evergreen training content, and then obviously the channel you're on right now is for like the daily updates and the daily show and that whatnot. But if you want to know how to easily pass an eval to the tune of 45% accuracy, basically every other count you're going to pass, it's all explained right there. So check that out.
Education, which is being moved. We're going to educate the children in their states where they can get a proper education. I think it's going to be horrible the way it is, and we're going to make a move that's very big. I don't think it's even risky a little bit. I think it's going to be amazing. It should have been done years ago. They've been talking about doing it for many years, but nobody ever got it off. But we did. And there was great excitement and great acceptance of it by almost everybody, including a lot of Democrats, actually. I do want to say that I've decided that the SBA, the Small Business Administration, headed by Kelly Loeffler, is a terrific person, will handle all of the student loan portfolio. We have a portfolio that's very large, lots of loans, tens of thousands of loans, pretty complicated deal. And that's coming out of the Department of Education immediately, and it's going to be headed up by Kelly Loeffler at SBA, and they're all set for it. They're waiting for it. It'll be serviced much better than it has in the past. It's been a mess. And also, Bobby Kennedy, the Health and Human Services, will be handling special needs and all of the nutrition programs and everything else. Rather complex, but that's going to be headed by and handled by Health and Human Services. So I think that'll work out very well. Those two elements will be taken out of the Department of Education, and then all we have to do is get the students to get guidance from the people that love them and cherish them, including their parents, by the way, will be totally
Either look for
involved in
this
their
breakout or
education,
this
along with the
breakdown.
boards
That's what we're looking
and
for.
the governors and the states, and it's going to be a great situation. I guarantee that in a few years from now, I hope I'm going to be around to see it, but I think we're going to see a lot of it. I think that you're going to have tremendous results. You're going to have results like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, a lot of the countries that do so well. I think you're going to have a lot of those results. If you look at Iowa and Indiana and Idaho, so many places that run so well, Florida, Texas, big ones, you're going to have great education, much better than it is now at half the cost. And we're not even doing it as a cost item, although you will save probably half, maybe more than that. And you're not going to be at the bottom of the list. You're going to be much higher. And maybe you'll be, I will guarantee some of the states will be at the top of the list. They'll be comparable or better than these number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 countries.
We're failing back into this zone. Watch this. Do we hold above it, or do we get sucked right back into it?
It's been received very well. So I just wanted to tell you about the student loans and special needs. But we're here for a reason today that is very exciting, and I'm thrilled to announce that at my direction, the United States Air Force is moving forward with the world's first 6th generation fighter jet. Number 6, 6th generation. Nothing in the world comes even close to it. And it'll be known as the F-47. The generals picked a title, and it's a beautiful number, F-47. It's something the likes of which nobody has seen before in terms of all of the attributes of a fighter jet. There's never been anything even close to it, from speed to maneuverability to what it can have to payload. And this has been in the works for a long period of time. After a rigorous and thorough competition between some of America's top aerospace companies, the Air Force is going to be awarding the contract for the next generation air dominance platform
To Boeing, we know
to
this.
Boeing.
Yeah.
As you know, was highly competed for. There was a lot of competition, generals, and it's been going on for a long time. Very, very tough competition, but this plane is produced numbers that nobody's ever seen before. The F-47 will be the most advanced, most capable, most lethal aircraft ever built. An experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. There's no other nation. We know every other plane. I've seen every one of them, and it's not even close. This is a next level. You know, level 5 is good. This is level 6, they say. The F-47 is equipped with state-of-the-art stealth technology. It's virtually unseeable and unprecedented power. It's got the most power of any jet of its kind ever made. Maneuverability, likewise, is there's never been anything like it, despite the power and speed. Its speed is top. It's over 2, which is something that you don't hear very often. America's enemies will never see it coming. Hopefully we won't have to use it for that purpose, but you have to have it. And if it ever happens, they won't know what the hell hit them. A new fleet of these magnificent planes will be built in the air during my administration over the next couple of years. It's ready to go. They've already built much of what has to be built in terms of production, including the sheds. We'll ensure that the USA continues to dominate the skies. We've given an order for a lot. We can't tell you the price because it would give way to some of the technology and some of the size of the plane, good sized plane. This contract also represents a historic investment in our defense industrial base, helping to keep America at the cutting edge of aerospace and technology. Our allies are calling constantly. They want to buy them also, and certain allies will be selling them, perhaps toned down versions. We like to tone them down about 10%, which probably makes sense because someday maybe they're not our allies, right? But I would like to ask Secretary Hegseth, who's doing a fantastic job. He's really been very inspiring in so many ways, and I must say that before he speaks, we have had record people wanting to join our military in the last 2.5 months, literally since this, I think probably since the election, November 5th, but especially since we came to office and since I announced Pete. He's young, he's smart, he's strong, he loves it, and they love him, but we've had record numbers of people wanting to join our military. Now, if you go back 6 months, it was the exact opposite. You had record numbers of people not wanting to join the military. Now you have record numbers of people wanting to be in our military, and that's a great honor. That shows you we're really on the right track. So, Pete, maybe say a few words.
Sure.
Please.
Well, Mr. President, this is a big day. This is a big day for our warfighters. This is a big day for our country, a big day in the world. The name of this program is the Next Generation of Air Dominance. And Mr. President, because of your leadership, your clarity, America is going to have generations in the future of air dominance because of this 6th generation fighter. We've had the F-15, we had the F-16, the F-18, the F-22, the F-35.
We're getting close to a potential breakdown here.
Now we have the F-47, which sends a very direct, clear message to our allies that we're not going anywhere, and to our enemies that we will be able to project power around the globe unimpeded for generations to come. Mr. President, this is a gift to my kids and your kids, to my grandkids and your grandkids. This is a historic investment in the American military, in the American industrial base, in American industry that will help revive the warrior ethos inside our military, which we're doing, rebuild our military, which the previous administration did not do, by the way, Mr. President. They paused this program and were prepared to potentially scrap it. We know this is cheaper, longer range, and more stealthy. President Trump said we're reviving it and we're doing it. And then we are also going to reestablish deterrence. Under the previous administration, we looked like fools. Not anymore. President Trump has reestablished American leadership. The F-47 is part of it. And Mr. President, thank you. for having the courage to do it and leading the way for all our warfighters.
Thank you very much, Pete. One of the things I will say, but the generals are going to speak in just a couple of seconds, but this plane flies with drones. It flies with many, many drones, as many as you want, and it's a technology that's new.
We're showing some weakness,
It doesn't fly
making
by
a fresh
itself. It
low.
flies with
Things are starting to get a
many
bit tilted
drones,
here.
as
Could
many
be
as we
a
want.
shoulder head
That's
shoulder
something that
setup.
no other
Watch
plane
for the
can
snap
do.
of the
So I'd
neckline
like
at
to
the low of
introduce my
1040.
Air Force
Shoulder,
Chief
head,
Staff
shoulder.
General
You
David
could do a
Coleman,
measured target
and also
move.
General Dale White, two incredible people that
Should
I've
bring
known
us
over
down
the
to
years,
557.
but I got to know them really well over the last few months.
Shoulder, head,
Would you say
shoulder.
a few words, please, General?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr.
This
President,
is
Mr.
picking up a
Secretary,
little bit.
Thank you so much for your unwavering
Boeing
commitment to our
liking this
military.
news, obviously.
I will say that this is a big day. This is a big day for our United States Air Force as well. You know, air dominance is not a birthright, but it's become synonymous with American air power. But air dominance needs to be earned every single day. And since the earliest days of aerial warfare, brave American airmen have jumped into their machines, taken to the air, and they've cleared the sky. And whether that be
The
clearing
cues
skies so we
snapping the
can rain
neckline,
down destruction
that's an
on our
important
enemies from
development.
above, or we can clear
Next
the path
stop,
to the ground forces below.
474.21.
That's been our commitment to the fight, and that's really been our promise to America. And with this F-47 as the crown jewel in the next generation air dominance family of systems, we're going to be able to keep that promise well into the future. I also want to thank everyone from industry and within government, our engineers, who have worked tirelessly on this program to bring it where we are right now today. This shows that American talent, American skill, and American determination are second to none, because this platform is second to none. So we believe that this provides more lethality, it provides more capability, more modernized capability in a way that is built to adapt. This, along with our collaborative combat aircraft the President talked about with drones, this is allowing us to look into the future and unlock the magic that is human-machine teaming. And as we do that, we're going to write the
Spy
next
snapping it.
generation
Shoulder, head, shoulder.
modern
Breaking
aerial
down.
warfare.
Neckline snap.
This enables
Measured
us to do
move
this.
is now 557.
The manner in which we put this program together puts more control in the hands of the government, so we can update and adapt at the speed of relevance, at the speed of technology, not at the speed of bureaucracy. This is more Air Force. This is more options for
Mag
the
7 starting to take a slight
We
hit
say
at
as our
the
mission
Delta
as
high.
United States Air Force
NASDAQ
is
looking
to fly,
drunk.
fight, and win air power
Spy is
anytime,
starting to also
anywhere. If
take
you
a
wanna
hit.
go anywhere, you have
We
to
are
have a
back in
platform
this
that gets you
zone.
anywhere. This provides the president options.
Watch
from the
560.
very
Watch this 5-point region.
one end,
5605 to
which is quick
5600. Huge open
response,
interest
and we
level
get
right
back
here.
into fighting stance without having to deploy troops that are going to take maybe months and cost more lives. We can be back in fighting stance, and maybe we restore that deterrence all the way to decisive victory as part of a joint force that is the most lethal and capable military ever known in history. That's what we provide now, and this allows us to provide it into the future. It's more deterrence, more capability. It's what peace through strength looks like into the future, Mr. President. And so we're very proud to do that. And all we can say is, on behalf
Looking
of
for the
United
spy to
States
go
Air Force,
below 55850,
let's deliver.
somewhere in this zone. Looking for the cues to take out 474.21. Looking basically at the lows from 1010 this morning.
He knows who the boss is. Look at
That's
that.
exactly right. Air superiority is what it's all about, and this is what we'll deliver.
That's great. Thank you very much. Great job. We've worked together long and hard on this, and this was a
Spy.
big secret. In fact, we don't show too much of the plane for that reason. See what we show?
Mag 7.
You see how beautiful that is, but that's just a very small part of it.
Sure.
I wasn't surprised. I was wondering how much are you going to show if they came in with that. You see a wheel in the front? That's about it. Any questions?
Mr. President Trump,
Peter?
is 80,000 pages of documents is a lot to sift through.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us who killed Kennedy?
Well, you know, I was given the task of releasing that because many presidents have gone through it and they haven't released. And I said, release. We even released Social Security numbers. I didn't want anything deleted. They said, so what about Social Security? People long gone, but they're long gone, so I can't imagine. But I said, if you don't delete it, if you do delete it, we have people are going to say, why did you delete it? There's something in there. So we gave Social Security, we gave everything. And the rest is for you to look at, Peter. You're going to see whether or not you see anything. But we've given it. We're doing it with Dr. Martin Luther King, too. They're preparing all of that. They're going to release everything. And whoever else they want. I mean, you know, we have nothing, we really have nothing to hide. We shouldn't have, you know, when a lot of time goes by. But with the Kennedy files in particular, they were going crazy on them. I don't think there's anything that's earth-shattering, but you'll have to make that determination. In those, you know, it's 80,000, it's actually 88,000, and we have some additional things, as you know, come out today. And for that, you can go to the offices and you can see whatever you want to see. Everything is out there, totally open. The additional stuff is available later on today. You go over to the offices and you can have it immediately. And you'll make a determination.
And on something else, these Trendies Aragua guys, because of your executive order, they are designated as foreign terrorists.
Yeah.
If ISIS or Al-Qaeda foreign terrorists were operating here in the United States, cops would probably be shooting first and asking questions later. And so what is the difference between terrorists, between somebody like an ISIS or an Al-Qaeda operative versus a MS-13 or Trendies Aragua?
Well, these are people that focus on destroying people in their homes. They're not as international in that sense. They're a group of thugs. They come from Venezuela. They come from the prisons of Venezuela. They're very dangerous people, but they didn't look so dangerous when the guards took care of the situation from El Salvador. And I want to thank the president. He's a friend of mine. He's done a great job. But I just can't imagine that the Democrats are taking this issue where they want to have them back. You know, so now they have men playing in women's sports. They have transgender for everyone. They have open borders. They have all of their crazy policies that are, I think, 95-5, not 90-10, okay? And their new policy is, let's bring Trendies Aragua back into our country. Let's bring the worst, these are the worst gang members there are. They looked amazingly frail, though, by the way they were handled. It's very amazing. You know, they weren't, when they were in Colorado cutting the fingers off a man because he made a phone call to the police, they seemed a lot tougher then than they did when they were having their head shaved and they were in shackles. They're tough people, they're bad people. We don't want them in our country. We can't let a judge say that he wants them. You know, he didn't run for president. He didn't get much more than 80 million votes. And we just can't let that happen. It'd be so bad for our country. I won on the basis of getting criminals out of our country that were let in. It was called unforced error. They were let in by Biden, incompetently let in, and let in by the millions, actually. 21 million people, I believe it's 21 million. And that's not even including the gotaways, but these are rough people. We want them out of our country. And I won the election based at least partly on that, and that's a big part, yeah?
And I don't know if you saw this. Tim Walz is now saying about Trump supporters, and forgive me, I'm just reading a quote from Tim Walz. I think I could kick most of their ass.
Oh boy, he's in trouble.
Tim Walz,
Is there any way to know?
that fucking marshmallow.
He's a loser, yeah, I mean, he's a loser. He lost an election. He played a part. You know, usually a vice president doesn't play a part, they say. I think Tim played a part. I think he was so bad that he hurt her. But she hurt herself, and Joe hurt them both. They didn't have a great group, but I would probably put him at the bottom of the group.
Have you heard that Biden wants to get back involved for Democratic politicians fundraising and campaigning against your policies? What do you think of that?
I hope so.
Mr. President, there are several families. Mr. President, there are families from some of the people.
Who are you with?
I'm with La Nación newspaper from Argentina. There are families from some of the people that were on those flights to El Salvador that claim that they're not criminals, they're not members of Trendies Aragua, of MS-13. What can you tell them, and what guarantees can you give them that everyone in those planes were actual criminals, terrorists, as you said?
Well, I was told that they went through a very strong vetting process, and that that will also be continuing in El Salvador. And if there's anything like that, we would certainly want to find out. But these were a bad group. This was a bad group, and they were in bad areas, and they were with a lot of other people that were absolutely killers, murderers, and people that were really bad with the worst records you've ever seen. And but we will continue that process, absolutely. We don't want to make that kind of a mistake.
Mr. President, is the U.S. planning to give up the position of NATO's Supreme Allied Commander, and if so, why?
NATO is something that I saved. NATO is gone. until I came along. In fact, the previous
Spy,
Secretary
bleeding,
General, very good
mag,
man.
7
both
flat.
of them are good. The current man is fantastic. But both of them have said, if it wasn't for Trump, you wouldn't even have a NATO, because we were paying the cost of almost all of the countries. And now they're paying. I said, we're not going to do this. We're not going to continue. You heard us on trade. You do
Puke,
bad things
bounce,
on trade, and then on
higher
top of it,
low.
we're supposed to pay for your
It's
military.
gonna break.
And because
we
of
just gotta
what I
wait.
did, hundreds of billions of dollars flowed into NATO by countries that just weren't paying. They were delinquent. They weren't paying their bills. So NATO is solid. They're strong, but they have to treat us fairly.
Are we going to give up the?
Because look, without us, NATO is not the
And we're
same.
giving-
And I can tell you, I've been having very good discussions, as you know, with President Zelensky and with President Putin. And President Putin will tell you that without the United States, he wouldn't be worried. But he is worried when the United States is involved. And I have to tell you, I've dealt very well with both gentlemen, and we have, I think we have the confines of a deal. I hope we have the confines of a deal. I'm doing it for two reasons. Number one, and by far most importantly, thousands of young people, and they're not American people, they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, are being killed every week, thousands a week. And also the United States has paid, because of Biden, $350 billion on a war that
Nasdaq
should
is
have
popping.
never happened. If we
Mag
had a competent
7
president,
kind of an
and
intraday high.
sitting right here, that war would have
Spy
never
is not
happened.
doing
Would have
anything.
Absolutely
Little
never
bit of
happened
pop
with
there.
me. And it didn't happen. For 4 years it didn't happen.
Mr. President, do you think you have the authority, the power to round up people, deport them, and then you're under no obligation to a court to show the evidence against them?
Well, that's what the law says, and that's what our country needs, because we were, unfortunately, they allowed millions of people to come into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. So you ought to ask, did he have the authority to allow millions of people? Did Biden have the authority to do something that's unthinkable? Have open borders where millions of people poured into our country, totally unvetted and totally unchecked, just as you would say. And many of those people were criminals. Many of them were from jails and prisons and mental institutions and gang members and drug dealers and very dangerous people. Many were murderers.
Whoa,
We have
just got smacked right there.
11,088
Something
that
happened.
We know of murders. They
Whoa,
murdered.
whoa, whoa,
of
whoa.
that number, at least half killed more than
Whoa,
one
whoa,
person.
whoa,
They're in
whoa.
our country. They're in a
Price
location
just got
near
smashed.
you.
Options didn't follow.
Biden allowed that
Just
to
made a
happen to
fresh
our
low
country.
there. Ball's
And
picking
there's
up a
people
bit.
that really ran the country. And the person that operated the auto pen, I think we ought to find out who that was, because I guess that was the real president. So when you ask me if we have the authority, did Biden have the authority
Quickly
to
flashed
allow
to a low, but bounced
millions
right
of
back
people to
up,
come into
right
our
here.
country? Many of these people, hardened criminals at the top of the line, who have caused tremendous damage in our country. You see them in New York City fighting with our police. I mean, literally having fist fights in the street with our police. These are tough, hard criminals. Many of them came out of jails, and not just South America, from all over the world. They came out from Africa, from the Congo. They came out from Asia, not just South America, but many from South America. These are hard, tough criminals, and we have to get them out. And a judge sitting behind a bench someplace got a nice appointment. You can't take that away from the people that are responsible. Now, in this case, Marco Rubio has a lot of big decisions to make, and he's a fantastic person, a great man. I think he'll be our best. I think he has a chance to be our best Secretary of State. He's been doing incredibly. He works so hard. He's gone to so many different countries already, and he's got the authority to get bad people out of our country. And you can't stop that with a judge sitting behind a bench that has no idea what goes on, who happens to be a radical left lunatic.
Do you think the judiciary is
You guys are denying this New York Times report that Elon Musk was going to be shown a 20 to 30 page presentation about a theoretical war plan against China. Why not just show it to Elon?
Because I don't want to show it to anybody. You know, you're talking about a potential war with China. Now, I deal with these people all the time, and I'm dealing with Pete. I'm dealing with these gentlemen on numerous different airplane purchases, and I think they're all going to be great. But I don't want other people seeing
Little
anybody
flash
seeing
right back up.
potential war with China. We don't want to have a potential war with China, but I can tell you if we
Maybe
did, we're very well
revisiting the
equipped to
top
handle
of this
it.
zone.
But I don't want to show that to
We're just
anybody.
in
But
Chop
certainly
City.
you wouldn't show
There's
it to a
nothing to be done
businessman
here.
who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot. He's paying a big price for helping us cut costs, and he's doing a great job. He's finding tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. But I certainly wouldn't want, Elon has businesses in China, and he would be susceptible perhaps to that. But it was such a fake story. The New York Times is just as fake as CNN and MSDNC. And anybody read that story, people laughed at that story. Who would do such a thing? And the first thing I did is I called Susie and I called Pete. I said, is there any truth to that? And they said, it's ridiculous. No, he's over there to talk about cost. You might want to address that, Pete. But Elon was over there today to address cost. Doge, thing called Doge, which you've heard about. Pete?
That's exactly right, Mr. President. You pointed out it was a fake story. We pointed out it was meant to sort of undermine whatever relationship the Pentagon has with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a patriot. Elon Musk is an innovator. Elon Musk provides a lot of capabilities our government and our military rely on, and I'm grateful for that. We welcomed him today to the Pentagon to talk about Doge, to talk about efficiencies, to talk about innovations. It was a great informal conversation. The rest of that reporting was fake. There was no war plans, there was no Chinese war plans, there was no secret plans. That's not what we were doing at the Pentagon.
I might add that I think Elon, if they ever wanted to do that, I think Elon wouldn't do it. I think he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't want to put himself in that position. But if you read what's out of the New York Times, it's such a dishonest newspaper. It's such garbage. It's, it used to be called all the news that's fit to print. Well, it's all the news that's not fit to print. They have fake sources, or they don't have sources. I think they make most of it up. But this was a made-up story by the New York Times. I call it the failing. It's a failing newspaper. It's failing. And they shouldn't do that. They really are the enemy of the people.
And
We do need honest journalism in this. We've made such big strides over the last 2 months, but we just need honest journalism, and we don't have it. When you have a CNN, you have to watch these people every once in a while just to see where they're coming from, and it's so dishonest. MSNBC is, I think, probably worse, and they're both doing horribly in the ratings. I think they're going to be turned off. I don't think they're not doing any ratings. You're doing well in the ratings.
Do you think he just memorizes the ratings beforehand so he can talk smack?
Is there anything that they can do to stop April 2nd or to roll back the tariffs that you put on?
Tariff question.
Well, this is us. But basically, I call April 2nd. I would have made it April 1st, but I didn't want to be April Fool's Day because then nobody would believe what I said, and they do believe me. April 2nd is going to be Liberation Day for America. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, friend and foe. We've been ripped off on trade. We've been ripped off on military. We protect people, and they don't do anything for us. It's just so
Tariff
unfair.
talk shouldn't be so good for the market.
Now some of that money is going to be coming back to us in the form of tariffs. Tens of billions. It's going to be numbers like nobody's ever seen. So NVIDIA announced today, you saw that, hundreds of billions of dollars of investment. The biggest chip maker in the world announced hundreds of billions of dollars of investment. Hundreds of billions, not millions, but billions. They're all coming here. Apple just announced $500 billion worth. They're going to build plants here. They built their plants in China. They're going to build them here. And they're starting immediately. We have investment, the likes of which this country has never seen, already announced. And they all want to have news conferences. I don't have enough time to have that many news conferences, but I would say so far at least $4 trillion. $4 trillion is coming in. Car companies, very importantly, a lot of the car companies that were going to build in Mexico or Canada are now building here. Because I don't want cars from Canada. I don't want cars from Mexico. They want to do it, it's fine, but I want the car companies to build here, not, they were building in Mexico 3 plants, big plants, really big plants, and they were going to sell the cars right across the border. We wouldn't have the jobs, we wouldn't have the profits, we wouldn't get the taxes, we get nothing. All we get is unemployment and empty factories. Those days are over. So now those 3 places are going to build here, but many more than that. We have a big one. Honda is building, just announced a really big plant in Indiana, great state, smart place to build. And we have many car companies coming here. The steel mills are going to be booming. And many other things come with that. But we need that for defense. You know, there are certain things you have to have. You have to have steel. We would have had, if I didn't do in my first term tariffs to stop the onslaught, because they were dumping steel in order to destroy our steel plants. If I didn't do 50% and even 100% in certain cases tariffs on steel, you wouldn't have a steel plant in the United States. And Biden was unable to get rid of those tariffs because they threw off so much money that his numbers, which didn't work anyway, because his numbers were terrible. What he did, the way he spent money was so horrible. And
Quick
what he
little
allowed to
pop
happen
there
to
for some
energy.
reason.
That's the other thing. Energy is going to be like
Things
it's
are getting
never
a little
been
bit more
before.
whippy right now.
Mr. Vice President is here. If you have any, do you have anything to say while you're here?
Right here, look at that. Like,
I'm just here to watch the show, sir.
Okay.
I think airplanes are pretty cool, so I wanted to check this out.
Airplane's cool. It is cool.
Is there anything that China can do to take off the trade war at this point, though?
Well, I'll be speaking to President Xi. I have a great relationship with him. We're going to have a very good relationship. But we have a $1 trillion deficit because of Biden with President Xi. More than that. I mean, I've heard $1.2 trillion. We have a deficit. And I've explained that to President Xi. We also have a problem where he's allowing fentanyl to be sent into Mexico and then cross the border and, you know, killing. I think the number is much higher than
dude, vol, like right here, we're
150.
getting real
I think
whippy
it's
now,
closer
folks.
to
Pay attention.
300,000 people a year.
Real
And
whippy.
So that's a problem. But they have a tremendous surplus against the United States, and we don't want that.
Mr. President, why do you want to control Ukraine's power plant?
A number of industries have come to you asking for exemptions on tariffs. Is that something that is under consideration by you?
Well, people are coming to me and talking about tariffs, and a lot of people are asking me if they could have exceptions. And once you do that for one, you have to do that for all. So, I mean, generally, I did something interestingly during 2 weeks ago. I gave the American car companies a break because it would have been unfair if I didn't. And everybody said, oh, he changed his mind on tariffs. I didn't change my mind. I helped
Dude,
our sort of big
what is
three, big
happening?
four. I
We're
helped some
jumping
of the
points like
American
it's
companies.
nothing.
And instead of taking it properly, they said, oh, he changed it. I don't change, but the word flexibility is an important word. Sometimes there's flexibility, so there'll be flexibility, but basically it's reciprocal. So that if China's charging us 50% or 30% or 20%, and I don't mean China, I mean anybody, any country, Canada. Nobody knows that Canada's charging our dairy farmers. They have 270% tariffs. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. They have up to 400%. They have a couple of tariffs at 400%. Nobody knows that. Nobody talks about that. And remember, with Canada, we don't need their cars, we don't need their lumber, we don't need their energy, we don't need anything from Canada, and yet it costs us $200 billion a year in subsidy to keep Canada afloat. So when I say they should be a state, I mean that. I really mean that. Because we can't be expected
They should
to
be a state. They should
carry
be a state.
a country that is
Oh,
right next
some
to us
bulls
on
are
our
stepping
border.
in right
It
now?
would be a great state. It would be a cherished state. The taxes for Canadian citizens would go down in less than half. They don't spend money on military because they think we're going to protect them. There are many things that they do, like icebreakers. They want us to provide icebreakers for them. Oh, that's wonderful. So the Canada, they're very tough traders too. I want to just tell you, all the people, they're tough traders. They trade very tough. And you know, the expression I use is, some people don't have the cards. I used that expression about a week and a half ago, right? Somebody was negotiating who didn't have the cards, who's now, I think, saying that he wants to do it, and I think we're going to have a big deal on that.
Zelensky
Very
here.
special something. We got to make a deal on that. But Canada has been a very nasty negotiator against the United States, took advantage of the United States for a long time. But nobody knows that they were getting 270% tariffs on dairy products.
A follow-up on Canada, and I don't think I've heard you say this in all of the talk about Canada becoming the 51st state. Are you concerned that if they became the 51st state, they would be a very, very blue state? Very, very big and very, very blue.
No, there might be, but it would, you know, you have that artificial line that goes, that straight artificial, that looked like it was drawn by ruler, somebody with a, I don't mean a ruler like a king, I mean like a ruler, this way. And it's just an artificial line that was drawn in the sand.
Potential higher low
Or
being
in the
formed.
ice. And you know, can I tell Peter, just, you add that to this country, what a beautiful landmass, the most beautiful landmass anywhere in the world. And it was just cut off for whatever reason. It would be great. Now, is it liberal? Maybe, but you know, a conservative until I got involved, because I don't care who wins up there. I frankly probably would do better with a liberal than a conservative if you want to know the truth. But
We're running right
just
back
a
into
little
that
while ago,
resistance again
before I
at
got
25.
involved and totally changed the election, which I don't care about. Probably it's to our advantage, actually.
Taking out this
But
recent
the
high on the
conservative was
Qs.
leading against,
I don't know why that
Governor
alert went
Trudeau.
off.
The conservative was leading by 35 points. So, you know, so I don't know about that. I think Canada is a place like a lot of other places. If you have a good candidate, the candidate's going to win.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but the
Mag 7 near its Delta high,
helped
NASDAQ
save some space.
pushing,
They didn't get any
SPY
overtime
picking
pay
up right
for all that
here.
extra time. They got $5 a day per diem. For 286 days, that is $1,430 in extra pay. Is there anything the administration can do to get them, to make them whole?
Well, nobody's ever mentioned this to me. If I have to, I'll pay it out of my own pocket, okay? I'll get it for them.
Mr. President, I'll follow up on the statistical science.
I like that.
Mr. President,
I'll pay it right out of my, is that all? That's not a lot. For what they had to go through. And I want to thank Elon Musk, by the way, because think if we don't have him. You know, there's only so long, even though they're in the capsule up there, that the body starts to deteriorate after 9 or 10 months and gets really bad after 14, 15 months with the bones and the blood and all the things that you've been reporting on very well. And if we don't have Elon, they could be up there a long time.
We're taking
Who else
out
is going to
25
get
again.
him?
This could be that
And
higher
I just
low.
want to thank him. He's going through a lot, what they're doing to him. And these people are going to be caught, and they're going to be caught, and they're going to be prosecuted. And from what they tell me, I see this just by watching your programs and reading the news, but from what they tell me, they could get 20 years in jail, and they'll get it. I'll tell you, there's going to be no leniency, and there'll be no pardons.
Oh, this
I can
is
tell you
the
that.
people
And you said this morning,
vandalizing
20 years in
Teslas.
jail, and then maybe you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe they'll go to one of these prisons in El Salvador. Do you think with the way that the judges have been issuing injunctions, it would be easier or harder to send these Tesla domestic terrorists to a jail in El Salvador than these MS-13 or Tren de Aragua guys?
Well, I view these people as terrorists just like others. These are when I looked at
Potential
those
higher low
showrooms
being put in
burning,
just now at
and
noon.
those cars,
Watch
not
for
one
this
or
follow
two,
through,
but
or
7,
it's a lower
8,
high.
10
So
burning, exploding all
transitional
over
right
the
here.
place. These are terrorists.
Right here,
You
we're
didn't
top
have that on
the zone.
January 6th, I can tell you. You didn't have anything like that on January 6th, which is sort of amazing because on January 6th, the Democrats were talking. Nobody was killed other than a very beautiful young woman, Ashley Babbitt. Nobody was killed. And you look at what's going on now with these terrorists. These are terrorists, and that's an organized event. You know, take a look at their signs. Take a look. They're all made by the same sign company. A nice, expensive job. Now, these are the people that finance it are, in my opinion, in just as big a trouble as the people that are setting the match and setting the fires. So we'll see. It's under very serious investigation by the FBI and by the Justice Department. These people are terrorists.
Mr. President, you mentioned a deal with Ukraine.
Mr. President, what do you say to American military families who are seeing Elon Musk at the Pentagon today, are hearing about Defense Department cuts, and their thoughts are immediately going to the safety of their loved ones who are currently deployed?
Well, we're making our country strong.
VIX
And
is coming
when they
down.
see a thing like that, and
Mag
they hear
7
that
up.
story about
NASDAQ
Elon
up.
and China, what they should
SPY
do
is
is
up.
realize that the New York Times is a corrupt institution, because I think they're the ones. They knew that story wasn't true. Nobody believed that story. People that, when I first called, they laughed when they heard this story. Nobody believed it, that the Pentagon was giving him a briefing on what war with China would look like, and he has business in it. No, they made that up because it's a good story to make up. They're very dishonest people. I have it with the Times, and you'll see more and more of it. To me, it's a very dishonest organization. But a story like that is made up. It's total fiction. And I just wanted to make sure I called up Chief of Staff and I called up Pete, and I said, is there any truth to that? Absolutely not. He's there for Doge, not there for China. And if you ever mention China, I think he'd walk out of the room. He wouldn't take it anyway. So it's just a made-up story. Nobody's taking better care of the military. One of the things that I know that Pete's doing is he's talking about a lot of the civilian staff, and we're going to get them other jobs. You know, we're going to have a lot of jobs in this country, but we don't want to have wasteful jobs. We want to have meaningful jobs. And those were wasteful jobs. Those are jobs that not only military, but jobs where people don't show up. You take a look at Department of Education. I've never seen so many buildings with the names on it. You go past one after another Department of Education, and they're empty. The people don't show up. You know why? Because they have other jobs, because they're playing golf, or they're playing something, they're doing something. And we have a lot of great people, but we have to move that back to the States. We're going to make our country strong, and we're going to get people much better jobs, because we have companies moving into our country, the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this has happened. And it's automatic. They don't want to pay the tariffs. How do you avoid paying the tariffs? You build your plant in the United States, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I see it. So far, I would say $4 trillion. Nobody's ever heard of them. No country's ever heard of numbers like that. $4 trillion, and those are the best ones. The biggest, best chip maker in the world. I'm not a fan of the CHIP Act, where you give billions of dollars away to companies that don't need it, and it won't bring them here. I'm giving nothing away. All they're doing is coming here, they're building because they want to avoid. Remember this on the tariffs too, because that's going to be, Liberation Day, April 2nd. It's reciprocal. If they charge us, we charge them. So somebody say, well, how much are the tariffs? Very fair. If India, as an example, has been very bad to us on tariffs, they charge 100%, 200%, whatever they charge. Now, Europe just announced they're lowering the tariffs on cars. We charge like a joke, 2.5%. That's what this country charges. Europe just announced that they're reducing their tariffs on cars to 2.5%. It's nice. But they also have non-monetary tariffs where they make it impossible for the cars to get in even without the dollars on them and the dollar signs. It's called a non-monetary tariff, where they put on controls where no matter what happens, because they don't want cars, they don't want the American car in their market. And yet they send us millions of cars, they send us big agriculture, they don't want our agriculture, they don't want anything from us. European Union's very tough, but now it's fair. So whatever they do to us, we do to them.
Mr. President, you mentioned
last month you mentioned as Russia continues to attack Ukraine, are you planning to impose any sort of sanctions?
Well, they're fighting against each other. Yeah, I think we're going to have a ceasefire on a lot of areas, and so far that's all held very well. And getting that ceasefire, they had a lot of guns pointing at each other. We had some soldiers, unfortunately, surrounded by other soldiers, and they are going to be, I believe we're going to pretty soon have a full ceasefire, and then we're going to have a contract. And the contract's being negotiated, the contract in terms of dividing up the lands, et cetera, it's being negotiated as we speak.
What do you say to critics who say that your actions towards law firms amount to coercion?
Well, the law firms all want to make deals. You mean the law firms that we're going after, that went after me for 4 years, ruthlessly, violently, illegally? You mean, are those the law firms you're talking about? They're not babies, they're very sophisticated people. Those law firms did bad things. They went after me for years. Russia hoax, all a hoax. It was a hoax. It was Hunter Biden's laptop. It didn't come out of Russia, by the way. It was came out of his bedroom. It was all a hoax, developed by Democrats. Hillary, I don't think Biden did, because I don't think Biden knows what the hell he's doing, frankly, based on everything I see. I've seen things since being here that are so sad. What he's done to this country, what he and they did to this country, those people that surrounded him, who, by the way, are radical left but smart. He's not smart. He was never smart. But these are radical left, smart people. They totally controlled him. He did whatever they told him to do. And it's a shame. It's so sad to see what happened, what they've done to this country, both not only the inflation you saw, but allowing millions and millions of criminals into our country, that's an inexcusable act.
5
And many
minute
other
and 10
things
minutes,
besides that.
10 minutes testing bullish. 5 minute, 30 minutes coming up to it. All right, that is it. That's all she wrote. Wait, hang on. I want to show you guys some things. Potential, like I was watching that right there at noon. That's a legitimate higher low, and we might be now going to a higher high, which could really be bringing us into this overall transition zone. So obviously we spent a lot of day chopping down here. That's that white box. But I do want to let you know, this is still technically bearish dominated right now, and then it becomes the chop zone in between this 25-point region. So just in case craziness happens for the remainder of the day, I want to let you know this is the chop zone. Above 675, it becomes bullish. From 7 to 720, it becomes like pretty bullish. Above 720 is like legit, the bulls are back in control. So very bullish, pretty bullish, getting bullish. This is the chop zone. This is now weekly bearish. So weekly bearish, kind of bearish, truly bearish. So it's the same thing. We're setting up those zones. And obviously the bears' hands are weakening as we're getting back into both the GEX and the DEX transition zones. Watching in here, looking at the options flow. The options flow is obviously supportive of this move higher. Here's a look at the S&P 500. We just hit a new delta high, and looking at the Mag 7, we just hit a new delta high. So be careful because we're still technically in a bear zone. This then becomes transitionary, little bullish, pretty bullish, super bullish. And then obviously here I'll scroll out so you guys can screenshot these levels and see what's going on. But this is kind of what I'm currently seeing. So just before I ditch for the day, these are the levels of interest. Feel free to screenshot it. Feel free to write them down. Feel free to do whatever you need to do. But on that higher low, a lot of you know that I was swinging puts into today. On this higher low, I just cut them all because I couldn't risk exactly what's happening right now. So we didn't get the vomit that I was very interested in getting, but hey, sometimes that is just how the fucking cookie crumbles, folks. And I see the VIX also getting hit, bowing up on the news. So we're getting some tariff talk. The market seemed to not give a shit about it. I think it's being telegraphed well enough that the market is now fully prepared. Before I leave for the day, shout out to Vanquish for sponsoring the Payday Friday giveaway. The code Goonie will get you 35% off the SIM-to-funded options accounts. And right now, Apex is for futures. Those are the ones that I just passed. I also want to let you know that I just posted a video on the easiest way to pass the Apex evals. So if you're having an issue, right here, Apex eval pass, how to pass Apex eval in one day. That's up on Rumble. It's also up on the new YouTube channel. So if you're curious in how to pass, that is right there. So kind of a full breakdown, 20 up-to-date tips and tricks and guide. That's what I have for you. I appreciate all the good vibes. Folks, I very much hope you're going to have a good, profitable Friday. It is quadruple witching. Get ready for witching hour. The final hour of the day might be a fucking nutty one, so please be prepared for that. That's what I have for you right now. Obviously, pay attention to your risk for the remainder of the day. Have a safe weekend, and if not, make sure it's worth it, and then I'll catch you again on Monday. So we'll be posting an update video Sunday evening and then returning to the live show on Monday. Shout out to Vanquish. Shout out to Apex. If you want to join the Discord, remember that first month is free, but most importantly, hey, it's just money. Remember, you can't take it with you when you go anyway. That's what I have for you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the good vibes. Enjoy the remainder of your Friday and enjoy your weekend. Love you all. Peace.